Sorry. So guys, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So guys, I thought, you know what? Just to try and make things a bit different, just to try to liven things up, I just thought, we're going to bring back Sunday debates. So Sundays where there's a massive debate topic that has people maybe arguing on Twitter or so forth, where we have different sides of the arguments, and we want to now bring it forth to a panel to argue. Now, guys, anybody is invited to this. Remember, I've put the StreamYard link out there for people. So if you want to have your say on this debate topic, comment. So we're going to talk Messi this Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to talk Pep. And the Sunday after that, we're going to deal with Neymar. So again, sit in, do your thing, enjoy yourselves. And you know what? We're going to try and get in and talk about whether Messi still needs the World Cup after his exploits in this. So guys, remember, the StreamYard link is out on my Twitter page. That StreamYard link is out on my Twitter page for you to click in, go in, and go for. So before we even get into the arguments, let me just first say this. I am happy that Messi was able to win something with Argentina. So basically, let's start with love. Let's first start with love. I think it is good for football, and I think it was needed for football that Messi was able to win something with Argentina, and I was happy for him because I could just see by just how the kind of the release of his emotions with how much it's meant to him to win something like that for Argentina. So I am happy. I'm happy for him, and I think it is great. So because it would have been very weird and very odd. And I don't know how anybody would have explained this. It would have been difficult to explain how a player that's good and that talented with a talented Argentine squad, how he would have now, because that would have been like his fourth or fifth final that he would have lost. So that's all great. But my main thing is there is this issue we have in football discourse, specifically with regard to whether it's Cristiano and Messi, where there is an over-eagerness to anoint people as great and as the GOATs. And people will use any arguments whatsoever to call people greatness and the GOATs. And look, we will even get into it because I want to get into the whole thing of consistency, and specifically as to why consistency is consistency, but consistency is not an example of your greatness. And I want to put forth the arguments that you cannot use consistency as a main argument for, this guy's amazing. You can't say, because you're consistently defeating a team like this in front of a screen right now is not an example of you being great. Its quality is good, but you just beating upon this dude right here does not equate to you being a GOAT or being great. So let me just first put my argument, and then we can then hear from everyone. I think Messi is one of the most talented players of all time. And I think that him winning a Copa America for Argentina, I think, is another great achievement for him. But damn straight, of course, he needs the World Cup. 100%. Because if you look at all of the Champions Leagues that he's won it with one of the most talented Barcelona sides in history. Because if you look at the teams he won the Champions League win, whether it was MSN or with David Villa or with Eto Puyol and so forth, those teams were far better than freaking Belotti and whoever Ronaldinho had when he won it with those dudes. And they're even better than the team that Pep Guardiola had. So you just showing me tons of Champions Leagues with a fully stacked team isn't enough, because for me, I say you have to suffer. You have to suffer, and you have to show success through a particular degree of difficulty. That's what you have to do, because we'll get into it right now. As I said again, I wanted to start with love. And the key things I want to start with love, I think Messi is top 2, top 3 most talented players of all time. That's a fact. But we have to talk about his performance in finals. We have to talk about his performance in this Copa America final. And we've got to say to ourselves that, wait a minute, hang on. So if we're saying that he's the GOAT and he's the greatest, and he cannot show me a myriad of final games in which he said, what's up? Something is funny there. Because I know what Zidane did in 98. I know what Beckenbauer did in, 74. I know what Ronaldo did in 02. I know what Maradona did in 86. I know what Pele did in 58 and in 70. Where these are guys where, because my thing is, you can be consistent all you want. It is what you do in the biggest games combined with your consistency is what makes you truly great. But if you don't deal well with high pressure situations, if you don't deal well when things are difficult, when things are hard, when you don't have things your way, where your team isn't even playing well, where you don't even have the greatest possible team, then I'm looking at you funny. I'm looking at you funny because I'm sorry, guys. Maybe you went old enough in 2002. That was not a great Brazil team. It wasn't a great Brazil team. Ronaldo had to make it happen for him. And anybody who watched those games would realize that no, Brazil got outplayed by Turkey and Germany. But Ronaldo had to find something out of somewhere in order for him to say, what's up? So I've put forth my arguments right down before we go into this. Let me come first to Dag and then I'll come to Undisputed Dead and to Nick. So, Dag, talk to me, bro.
Okay.
Where do you stand with this? Do you think Messi still needs to World Cup, or hey, he's been super consistent, he's won all these trophies, 92 goals in a calendar year, he doesn't need the World Cup, he's already a goat.
Okay. Once again, thank you, HH, for having the opportunity for us to have this meeting. So I guess I'm gonna go like a little bit long, but so like I said, I mentioned like last time, my dad's from Ghana. Obviously, he's much older than me, and so he has seen Maradona play, back in the '80s. And from the perspective of even Argentinians, I think Maradona is still, let's say, higher than Messi to some extent because of that World Cup, and even getting to the World Cup final in 1992, uh, as well. Like I think a lot of people also miss that when it comes to Maradona. So I do think for Messi, like he doesn't win the World Cup because I think now when you look at Ronaldo and Messi, I think they're kind of tied to some extent because like Ronaldo, he has the Euros, I guess Nations League as a minor international trophy. Messi, he's won the Copa America and Olympics as a minor trophy, international trophy to some extent. So I think if we want to really assess Messi, like I said again, not only does he have to perform in the World Cup, but he needs to score goals even in the knockout stage because I think the thing that hurt Argentina once they got past out the knockout stage was that Messi wasn't scoring. Like he was assisting, but he wasn't scoring. I think with him not scoring, it hurt their performances in the long term. Because if you watch that Switzerland game, back in round 16, I remember all the. I mean, to be fair, maybe there's a tactics in that game, but I know like um ah I forgot the manager for Switzerland at the time, but he won the Champions League with Dortmund back in '98. But I remember um like all the Swiss players were on him, or like it was hard for Messi to really do anything. It was mostly Di Maria that was actually helping Argentina in that game, and even the same thing in the game against Belgium, it was Higuain, funny enough, and I think and honestly, I do think if there wasn't Brazil 7-1, I personally do think that Holland Argentina game would have been more entertaining to some extent. So, but like at the same time, like Messi didn't really perform in those games. Like the last like general good performance he had in that World Cup was against Nigeria. Funny enough, um,
Dag,
so
relax. You didn't have to. You didn't
um,
have to bring that up. I mean, I thought we're supposed to be friends. Ghana and Nigeria, I thought we're supposed
uh,
to be friends, man.
I'm sorry, but but yeah, but like you're right. Like not only does he have to win the World Cup, but he needs to have a good performance. Like he needs to at least score like at least 6, 7 goals in that World Cup. Maybe give an assist in the final, something I don't know, but like I do agree with you. Like I do think he's
You see,
achieved
because see,
everything that
Dag,
you want. Hmm.
it's so key that you said that because it's not just about being like an Abeloa and just being part of a team that wins a World Cup and so forth.
Hmm.
You have to perform.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
the reason why we talk about Zidane is because he scored those 2 goals in the final. The reason why we talk about Maradona is because who gave the pass for the winning goal in 86? It was Maradona. So you have to perform. And my issue with Messi is, again, one of the most talented players that I think I've ever seen in my life. Well, okay, but is he top 2 or top 3 most talented player I've ever seen in my life? But my issue is there's a difference between you talented, being
Hmm.
consistently good, and big game, big moments, highest difficulty. Can you say what's up? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think people are sort of combining two things. They are putting consistency against Lugo with can you say what's up against Germany in a World Cup semi? Can you say what's up against a fully stacked Brazil that doesn't have a clown called Rich as striker against them? So these are things, but continue.
Yeah. But I mean, like you're right. Funny enough, for Tolson to score, I think a hat trick against Germany on Monday. Was it?
Wait,
Was it Monday or
wait,
Tuesday?
wait, 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 bro. No, no, please don't. No, just no, not the
Yeah.
heck.
Yeah. But yeah. But going back to a scene, like he needs to perform, even if he doesn't score, at least like give an assist or something. At least show like that you did something to help the team win. because like he could have scored, in that final against Brazil like last week, but he obviously slipped. And I think had he scored, that would brought even more um praise because like even though everyone was happy, everyone said, "Oh, but he didn't perform in the final," obviously. So I mean, like you're right. Like I'm very happy for Messi. I mean, as you said, like it's very important that he's won a trophy for Argentina at least. I mean, like he was the best player in the tournament too. Had a lot of goals and everything, but still
Okay,
like
okay.
like
So
the
let's just bring
final.
it.
Oh,
Let's bring it to one of those guys. You know what?
mhm.
I'm gonna go to Abdul then to Nix because you're not undisputed. You're gonna have a lot to say. So I'm gonna just leave you towards the nearer end. So let me come to Abdul first, then to Nix. Abdul, talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Crystal clear, crystal clear.
All right. I mean, the thing is for me, the answers it's in between. It's it's never just the most consistent person, and it's never just the player that steps up, only steps up in big games. Like it's in between. Is the consistent player that also tends to show up. You know what I mean? Um, for me, I think like the thing is with big games, like there's been a lot of big games players like that doesn't get mentioned, like Vava. Vava scored in two different World Cup finals. I never hear his name in the GOAT debate. You know what I mean? So he's not a GOAT, but Ronaldo's a GOAT because he showed up in a World Cup final. He showed up in a World Cup. So I think there's a lot of inconsistencies like in the whole GOAT debate. There's also a lot of preferences. Like I know you, HH, for example. I know you prefer R9. He's more
No, no,
like
no, no, no. There's no preference. But the point you just made, I think he said Vava. Okay, that's good that he said scored in those finals. How? What was his effect on the footballing world? How good was he as an individual? Because you see, I know you are right. You need a combination. We know how good Zidane is, and we know his quality and how he's arguably one of the best midfielders that we've ever seen. Oh, he also has a World Cup final. Before his knee injury, Ronaldo was the best thing in the world, and if Ronaldo never had that knee injury, he would surpass every player in freaking history. So we knew how good he was. So my thing is a combination of how
but
good you
no,
are.
no, you can't say that. You can't say that's assumption.
No, no,
That's
no.
an
Facts,
assumption.
facts. It's facts. It's
No, it's
facts.
an
It's
assumption.
facts. It's
It's an
facts. It's
assumption. He
facts.
didn't, bro. He failed in the Galactico side, underachieved in the
No, no, no,
Galactico
no.
side.
That was after his knee injury. That was after his knee injury.
It doesn't
After his
matter,
knee
bro.
injury.
It's still his career. You can't judge a player pre and post injury, man.
Abdul,
Like
I'm telling you, it's a
that's your
fact. It's
preference,
it
man.
can't it cannot be argued. It is a fact. Pre
That's
knee
a
injury,
preference, I
nobody was
guess.
touching him.
Yeah, but Messi's also been injured before, had severe injuries, and came back. Do you judge him differently now? You don't, bro. You still judge him on the same way. So for me, honestly speaking, like the whole GOAT debate at the end of the day, like I know like people always gonna disagree at the end of the day, because people value some things. Like I respect the fact that you value big moments because that's who you are. We are not all like for me personally, I think this is a sport that's built around consistency. You know why? Because like it's what players they play 60 games a season, 60 games a season where the majority of the games aren't big games. You know what I mean? So it's a sport that's based around you having to perform consistently. Like a World Cup final, you don't play that every third month or every second week, That's once or twice in your whole career, you know what I mean? So so for me, I value consistency a lot. But I also appreciate the fact that a player like Messi, like he has stepped up in some finals, but when it's come for Argentina, bro, like I think I don't know what it is. Like it's unexplainable because as you said, HH, like that chance against Brazil, 9 times out of 10 he would have scored that. He would have scored that. So
And Abdul, no, I want you to go further. Why? What
I
is
don't.
the
There's
reason
no
for
explanation.
a player that
I
you know,
think.
and you know as a Barca fan, who you know is so good, who is this
Yeah.
extraterrestrial freak of nature that the likes we've never seen based on his consistency? How is it that a chance you know that 12 times out of 10 he would score, he didn't score, and he'd slip because of pressure? And we know what pressure does to him. What does that mean?
I mean, there are some players that perform well under pressure. they react well to pressure. I just think Messi, as he's aged, he's become more vulnerable to pressure, because we saw him when he was young. He was amazing in finals, those CL finals, amazing player. But even now, like, to be honest, as a Barca fan, like, he rarely steps up in big games. Like, he hasn't scored in El Clasico in 3 years now. He he didn't score a goal against Atletico. I mean, to be honest, like, as his age, he's become worse in big games. And why that is, I can't explain, to be fair. Like, I don't know him personally, you know what I mean? So, but that's what I'm observing from an objective standpoint. But does that tarnish his ability? In my opinion, a little bit it does, because the thing is, you don't win trophies if you don't step up and help your team in those big occasions. That's why I say, like, I always constantly hear people slating Tottenham for never winning a trophy, and Harry Kane should leave Spurs. You know what I mean? But Harry Kane is part of the problem. He's like part of the team. He doesn't step up in the big games either. You know what I mean? He's part of the problem. So for me, like, I mean, it's a very complicated discussion. But
No,
does
no,
he
no.
need it?
That's why I wanted to have it,
Yeah, yeah. But
because
does he need the World Cup? For me personally, no. But I know for a lot of people like you, he definitely does need it, because it would answer the question marks. But I want to ask you a question. Like, if he like has a really good tournament like he did in the Copa America,
Mhm.
but like he kind of breaks the final, would that tarnish his legacy, or the tournament in your eyes?
Yes, because it would play into what you just said, why he didn't score that 1v1. Because it's like, and that's the narrative he has, that this is one of the most amazing players we've ever seen, the likes of which we'll never ever see again. As in, we will never see a player as consistently good for this period of time ever again. It's never going to happen. But we put that to one side. When it comes for big critical moments, it just seems as if he just doesn't have what it takes to really say what's up in those big critical moments.
I
And hence,
to be fair,
it's a very complex discussion, because it's like
yeah.
there are different aspects of this sport of football and different ways in which we appraise people. We appraise the guy who is consistent. We appraise the guy that normally shows up. We also have to appraise the guy that shows up in the semi-final, because we have a player who is great for those 40 games. Semi-final, it just doesn't pop up, because the game against Lugo, the game against Eibar is different from the semi against Bayern Munich, or the final against Man City or PSG. That's a different kind of game, because you now have to mentally, psychologically, you have to approach the game from differently from how you play against Lugo, Eibar, or Betis. So, but let me bring it. So let me bring in Nick. So Nick, talk to
I
me.
agree. I agree. I agree.
Nick, talk.
First things first, I just wanted to correct you on your 2002 analysis of the World Cup, in the sense that respect Rivaldo. Rivaldo, who scored in every...
Nick.
Whoa, let me speak, man. Scored in every round of the World Cup up until the quarterfinals. Didn't score in the semis, had a day off, and then affected both goals in the final. So it wasn't a one-man
Oh,
carry.
give me a break. Okay, so he stepped over the ball. Who had to shoot?
Yeah, yes, he stepped over the ball. Yes, he stepped over the
He
ball.
did nothing. Oh, come on. Nix, don't do
And
that.
it was his shot that Ronaldo tapped in for the first.
And Nix, don't say he took a day off. Who ran from the halfway line by himself into the eye of the storm and scored the goal by individual? Nobody helped him in that semi.
Do you remember Rivaldo's goal against Belgium? On the chest, turn, volley.
Okay, what? Okay, look, this isn't a Ronaldo thing. It's not a Ronaldo thing.
Neeks, you should have mentioned his misses in the final.
No, he doesn't need to. I don't need to mention it. He scored 2 in the final. Respect Ronaldo as well. Respect both of them. The point I'm trying to make is it wasn't a one-man carry job. That's all I was trying to say. Does Messi need a World Cup to be the GOAT? The simple answer, I would say, is that there is no simple answer. That's the truth. What I would say is that the era that we live in, where social media is reigning supreme, and players it's much easier for players to become personalities, much easier now, regardless of what they do on the field. But of course, it contributes than it was back then. Every previous GOAT debate we had before Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, and I'm not saying that's today's debate. I don't know what everyone believes, but that's a debate that is all over social media all the time. Every GOAT debate that preceded Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi was about players who had won World Cups, who had performed in World Cup finals. Why does the precedent now change for Ronaldo and Messi? And obviously, today we're talking about Messi specifically. Now, people will say, well, there's nobody else in history who's done what they've done consistently for their clubs. Well, if we're talking about goal scoring in terms of the numbers they're putting up, Eusebio and Gerd Muller were putting up hella numbers, both for their clubs and their countries. Now, we know that Gerd Muller has a World Cup, Eusebio doesn't. But neither of them were in the GOAT debate. We talk about them as the greatest goal scorers of all time, but we never spoke about them as the greatest players of all time. And I think the fact that they didn't have those, I would say, iconic moments at World Cups, or even to the same level as a Pele or a Maradona or a Zidane or R9, is why we don't speak about them as the GOATs. Why must Ronaldo and Messi, or let's just stick to Messi specifically, why must Messi be excluded from that because he has X amount of more million followers because of the social media impact? I think we need to keep the same benchmark, the same measuring stick as we did for those previously that we do today. And I think if we don't do that, it kind of, for me, when you remove certain measures such as World Cups, World Cup final performances, I'm not even saying the World Cup goals, but World Cup final performances, I think it tells me that you're admitting that Messi has flaws in areas that the other GOATs in the debate don't have, hence why you want to remove it from it. So does Messi need a World Cup? No, I'm happy to have the discussion without him having it. But if we're talking about comparing players at their peak, what do you use to then separate those players? I think consistency is an argument because the level of consistency that Messi has shown at club level, Champions League level, forget about Lugano and Hercules and all those teams there. But even at Champions League level, it's very, very consistent. It's a high level performances. But Zidane also had high level Champions League performances. Cristiano Ronaldo also has high-level Champions League performances, even greater than that of Messi. So when you're comparing people at their peaks, what do you use to separate them? And I think when you look at Messi's international record, and he had a great Copa America, but I have a hard time using this Copa America win and performances, as good as they were, as great as they were even, as an individual, regardless of the poor level of quality that it was. When you have 5 Copa Americas in like 6 years, how can I take it seriously? They literally they're saying, please, just win one. Please, I'm begging you. Please, just before you retire, just have one. How can I take it too seriously? So I think a World Cup virtuoso performance like he gave in the Copa America, even without scoring the final, I would need that if I'm going to compare to the other people who's been in the GOAT debate, such as Pele, Maradona, and Zidane personally. Oh, sorry. Final point. Rafa Varane, baby. Rafa Varane, baby.
No, please.
HH, I need to respond. I need to.
Okay.
No, before you move on, can I just quickly make a point?
Go for it.
By the way, Messi's top 3 teams that he scored the most career goals against is Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, and Real Madrid. Just so you know it.
Oh, so those are the teams that he scored the most goals against.
Yeah.
Messi's a great player. That's
the
not
most goals against Sevilla, Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid.
Okay, I mean, see, but just on Knicks, before I come to this, because my thing is that this just shows you that it's like a generational thing. That's why the arguments that I have with the Messi fanboys, who are obviously much younger than me, it's going to be like an eternal war. Because me growing up, the Champions League was a big deal, but was not that much of a big deal. The World Cup was a big deal. So every time the World Cup came along, people knew that, oh no, this is it. And in life, those things that happen rarely you value them more as opposed to things that happen every single year. So, of course, the Champions League is a big trophy, but the World Cup is more valuable because it's so rare and happens so rarely, and there is such a small margin of error. The Champions League, which happens every single year, and where if you're lucky enough to be attached to a stats team, I'm sorry, that is an easier situation where you have every year to play this thing. And with the support system of great players, that's an easier situation than no. This is who you have for your country. And what I always say as well is that Messi isn't in the same category as what's it called, Ibrahimovic, where it's like, oh, Shevchenko was like, okay, look, there's no chance any of this stuff is happening. You only team that have won the World Cup twice and have been a beaten finalist twice. So, Undisputed, talk to me.
First of all, Dag, don't thank HH. He's a very evil human being and has a lot of hate in his heart. Okay.
What the heck?
What
the hell?
So, if hypothetically Messi wins 2022, he will become the third horseman. Hashtag third horseman. Okay. Pele, Maradona, Messi. That would be it. Don't give me Zidane and R9. They don't sniff Pele and Maradona. Okay. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. You've got this. The top 5 greatest players of all time, scientifically proven, are Pele, Maradona, Messi, Cristiano, and Johan Cruyff. Fact.
Oh, shut up!
Fact.
Cristiano.
They all have flaws.
Cruyff and Undisputed
Don't talk to. Okay. First of all, they all have flaws. Okay, Pele, he's played for a Brazil team so stacked that they won 1962 without him. Maradona never won the European Cup or Champions League. Johan Cruyff, Cristiano, Messi, obviously no World Cup. Every great has flaws, man. You've got this bum Zidane. This guy spends 10 years at Juve and Real Madrid, and ends up with 1 league title and 3 league titles, 1 Champions League, and 1 Ballon d'Or.
Has Zidane done the 2 flex? Yes or no? The Champions League and the World Cup, has he done the 2 flex? Yes or no?
Yeah, he's done it just like Iniesta.
And he scored in both finals.
Yeah.
He scored in both finals as well.
Mandzukic.
Champions League final and the World Cup final.
Listen,
Please put some respect on Zidane's name.
And he headbutted the guy. So
if you spend 10 years with Juve and Real Madrid and you end up with as many Ballon d'Ors as Matthias Sammer, I cannot take you seriously as a GOAT contender. I'm sorry. Cruyff won 3 Ballon d'Ors against Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller.
Situation.
Okay. And then you've got this other
two
bum.
Ballon d'Ors were freaking stolen, man.
No. And then you've got this other bum, R9. Listen, this guy spends 15 years for Inter Milan,
this
AC
is
Milan,
no.
Barcelona.
Focus on Messi.
Real Madrid.
This is a Messi
He had
discussion.
injuries.
He's got fewer CL goals than Gerard Piqué.
Can you focus on freaking Messi? Can you focus on Messi? We'll deal with it. Just focus on Messi.
Oliver Bierhoff outscored him in 1998. But anyway, moving on. Messi. He's probably the greatest club player of all time when you combine achievements with actual ability, and he's got a Copa America. His overall resume is very strong to be in the GOAT contender. Okay, he doesn't have a World Cup, but I can name plenty of flaws.
Wait. No. Don't just be so flip. Just say, oh, okay, he doesn't have a World Cup. No, that's a big deal. Just don't disregard that he doesn't have a World Cup. That's a big deal. You see, that's the thing that just annoys me is how a lot of you kids of this generation just are like, oh, the World Cup is no big deal. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get this. You don't get to change the freaking rules that have already been set in place. This were set in place before you guys were freaking sperm. You were not even.
Was it set in
before
place?
Was set in place?
So why? So you don't have Iniesta in your horsemen. You don't have Lothar Matthäus. You don't have Gerd Müller. You don't have Rossi, who's scored.
That's a different argument. Look, we're having a different thing with regards to horsemen. We're not talking about you being the GOAT and one of the greats.
HH, I cannot take you seriously as a football analyst when you seriously, in one of your Q&A, said that Dennis Bergkamp is a greater player than Johan Cruyff. At that point, every person from Netherlands should just unsubscribe.
No. Technically speaking, Dennis Bergkamp is technically better than Cruyff. Facts, 100%. And that's from now. Technically speaking, Dennis Bergkamp is one of the most technically gifted players I've ever seen in my life. And
you're incredibly biased towards 90s players, which is another big problem.
Can you focus on Messi? So why doesn't Messi need a World Cup?
Because he's too good overall. He's the most skilled player of all time. He's got a Copa America. He's got 2 trebles and 3, or depending if you count 4 Champions Leagues. He's got an incredible resume. He's led his country to a World Cup final. Okay, he didn't win it, but still. He's
What do you mean by still? And no, see, I hate when people just talk without context. You just said he led his country to a World Cup final. No, he didn't.
he did.
Where was he in that semi? But who put the tackle on Robin? That was freaking Mascherano. Who scored the winning goal against Belgium? That was Higuain.
It often comes down to how good the opponent is that you're
No,
playing
no,
against. For
because
instance,
undisputed. No, undisputed. No, wait. Do you know what's leading your country to a final is? It's what Maradona did in 86. 2 goals against England, 2 goals against Belgium in the semi. Now what?
I do actually consider Maradona the best player ever, but don't give me R9 and Zidane. Okay, they don't tie Maradona's shoelaces. Okay, you cannot put R9 and Zidane in the same category as Maradona. If R9 and Zidane are horsemen, then Maradona is a super horseman or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They're not in the same category, first of all. And secondly, it all often depends to how good the opponent is that you're playing against. The Germany that Messi played against is not the same Germany that R9 played against. Okay, R9 played against a bunch of bums and Oliver Kahn. That's it.
But we see, honestly, that's disingenuous because you're just looking at what was on the team sheet. Did you watch the game? No, because you were still in your dad's nutsack when that game was being played. If you had watched the game, which I did very clearly because I'm a little bit older than you all, Germany outplayed Brazil.
No, they didn't.
Turkey outplayed Brazil in the semis.
No,
But it took a superhero to rise above it. But honestly, I want us to focus on Messi. My thing is, so you said that Messi doesn't need a World Cup because of the resume that he has.
Yes.
But my thing though is that resume has those Champions Leagues. That's with a stacked Barcelona team. Do you know how good that? 2 of the Champions Leagues he won was with a team that gave you 3 international trophies in a row. And the other treble that he won, you had 2 players who were arguably the 2 best players in the world at the time in Neymar and Cannibal Suarez. So what are we really saying here, bro?
So what? He's a part of a great team. Pele was a part of a great team. R9 was a part of a great team. Zidane was a part of a great team. Only Maradona is the only one who has an actual say in saying doing something without a great team.
Undisputed. So that France team in '98 was a great team.
Yes, it had the best defense in the world. It had Desailly, Thuram. No. It had Laurent Blanc. It was the best defense in the world. As for that 2002 final, Brazil should have been about 3-0 up at halftime, but that bum R9 kept shooting straight at Kahn. Okay, that was the problem. And as for
undisputed, can I ask you a question, bro?
Yeah.
And also to the panel, would you guys, if you were a footballer, would you rather have 3 Ballon d'Ors or score in a World Cup final?
Score in a World Cup final.
So would you rather be Mario Götze or Johan Cruyff? Is that what you're asking?
Keep in mind that there's only 3 players in the world ever in the history of football that has 3 or more Ballon d'Ors. So you would be a part of a group that's a lot more special.
Yeah, I know, but people won't acknowledge that because it doesn't suit their agenda.
No, but if you win a World Cup for your country,
how good was
Zidane?
Zidane, nobody considered Zidane a GOAT during his playing days, by the way. You got Michel Platini, one of the greatest French players of all time. He said during the 2006 World Cup, you know what he said? He said, anything Zidane can do with a football, Maradona can do with an orange. Okay? And this was a French
player. Supposed to be listening to a convicted criminal called Michel Platini.
Well, he knows more about football than you. Anyway.
Anybody who saw what Zidane did in 2006 coming out of freaking retirements. Remember, you're dealing with a 34-year-old. We all know that Iniesta as a 34-year-old is in Tokyo saying what's up. As a 34-year-old, Zidane was pretty much performing and being the best player at a freaking World Cup coming out of retirement. That performance of what he did in 2006 ended the whole thing. But on the speed set, I want us to focus on your point, and I'll read some of your dubs. Come on, your boy. My thing is, do you know what DOD means? It means degree of difficulty. It means that you have to suffer. So, on the speed set, can you please explain to me Messi's performance in that Copa America final?
First of all, he was injured. And secondly, I would say that Brazil's probably a stronger team than Argentina. So it depends. Messi's actually won the final against a stronger team, which is something that Zidane never did, something that R9 never did. And that's all I got to say about that. As for one more thing, HH, you are a complete disgrace. You call yourself a football purist, and yet you don't like Messi, and yet you rep this pace merchant
No,
Mbappe.
I hate people twist my words. But before I come to Rob with this, I started this by saying that he is one of the most talented players we've ever seen. He's probably top 3 most talented players that we've ever seen. But you being one of the most talented, which is what he is very different from you being a GOAT. Talent and ability is different from greatness. See, greatness is a psychological thing. It's a mental thing. It's a pressure thing. See, the greats laugh in the face of pressure. The greats excel in the face of pressure. So being talented and being amazing is different from being great.
But why is
Abdul,
greatness
did you?
only related to international? Like, why is
Yeah,
why can't they be
Abdul, did you
great
guys
by-
know that Zidane bottled 2 Champions League finals with Juventus, and he got knocked out in the group stage a couple of years later? Zidane was a
he has a
choker in
World
the
Cup.
Champions League. Choker in Champions League.
Wait, let me, because before I come to Rob, let me just read some of these dubs. So from your boy Empty, who says Messi only performs versus Nigeria because of you, HH. Empty, relax. That's messed up. And also, if Messi played the Nigeria team of '98 or 1994, he would lose. So that's a fact. From Jay Jokin, who says Zidane and Dino are greater than R9 as they have a UCL. Jay Jokin, whoever told you that winning the Champions League is the greatest achievement? There is a football fact that the greatest title in football is a World Cup. It's what it is, and that's how it's going to be, and it will never change. From Armchair Critic Man, thank you for the dub. Armchair says that's my criteria: skill set, big games, consistency and longevity, and adaptability. Based on that, Pele, Diego, Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo, top 4 ever. Leo needs the World Cup to end it. So Armchair, you say adaptability. How has Messi? How do you? I mean, what is the example of Messi's adaptability? And then you say big games. What did Messi do in the World Cup final and the 3 Copa America finals? Those are big games. So what are you doing in those games? So again, I'm not really sure how Messi, because I know Messi fits skill sets, consistency, longevity, but big games and adaptability, I've got questions, bro. Rob, talk to me. Where do you lie on this discussion?
Well, I think that he's probably not a GOAT yet because he hasn't shown up enough for Argentina, I think. And he also has to score more in knockout games for the World Cup, for example, and show up in more games for Argentina. Even though this Argentina team isn't as good as the one that reached the final in 2014, but I still think he should do more in order to be considered amongst the GOAT.
So him winning that Copa America, do you? Because people argue that now that he's won with Argentina and he's done everything at club level, that should be enough because he's done international and thingy. So how do you then respond to people who say, he's won with Argentina right now, he's done everything?
Yes, he did win the Copa America, but he didn't show up in the final, for example. Like, he was great in all of the knockout games before that, but he was not great in the final, and he missed a very easy chance.
All right, this has been fair. So, Hassan, talk to me, man.
Yeah, man, I do think he needs a World Cup. I do think so. As much as I think Messi is the best player to play the game, I don't think he's the greatest. I think Maradona is the greatest to play the game because of what he's done with Argentina and what he's done with Napoli. But for Messi, the Copa America, Di Maria showed up and he did it in the final, so I think that's a stain on his legacy. But I think it's a bit harsh when you say he's not clutch. I think it's a bit harsh. He has showed up in CL finals and big games.
Hassan, what big games internationally has Messi showed up in? Now, I'd admit that, okay, look, he's done. See, my thing with the reason why I find the Champions League thing a bit difficult to call that clutch is because you're playing with Xavi, Iniesta, Eto'o, Villa. These are pretty big games. See, clutch is Drogba because that Chelsea team wasn't one of the greatest teams of all time. So Drogba finding a way to get that equalizer against Bayern, against that Bayern side, for me, see, I've not seen Messi do that.
Okay,
I've
wait,
not
wait. What do
seen
you
Messi
say?
do that. What Drogba did it in 22-12. We're like, look, Bayern beat the living crap out of Chelsea now in our final. But
Yeah, I
Drogba
get,
somehow, some way clutched something out of nothing. But yeah,
but I get that. Well, would you say Messi's goal against Madrid in that 3-2 would that be clutch? Would you consider that clutch?
I would consider that clutch, but they're varying the degrees of clutch. So that's goal. I don't weigh that as much as you now doing. Basically, I don't weigh that as much as what Di Maria did. You see, if Messi scored that goal that Di Maria did against Brazil in a Copa America final, that
Yeah,
is very different. That is very,
yeah.
very different.
That's the only thing with Messi. He has a ability, but when you talk about players like Zidane, R9, Maradona, they've showed up on a big stage. They've showed up, and goats like Gerrard, they showed up on a big stage.
Did you
So
just call Gerard you thought I wouldn't catch you? You just called Gerard a goat?
of course, come on, man. What kind of dumb question is that? Well, yeah,
Let me take some dubs, man. So from Edwino P626, HH, don't let these Messi fanboys disrespect Arnold. Edwino, don't worry. See, Edwino, they can say all they want, but the beauty about it is that all I have to say is a World Cup. That's all I have to say. And there's no response. You can say, this World Cup. World Cup top scorer, scored in the semi, scored in the final. And once I say that, there is no return. You can throw all your Ballon d'Ors, you can throw all your Copa Americas, you can throw all your thingies. It's like an ace in the hole. It's like an ace in the pocket. When you say World Cup top scorer, scored in the semi and final, there is nothing you can say against that. It is too strong an argument. You can't. From a boy Sage who says, HH, Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT goal scorer. He's easily top 3. Oh yeah. For me, I've always said this thing with Cristiano is that I would consider him one of the greatest goal scorers we've ever seen. Now, if I were to say talking about him as a player, I don't know. Talking as an overall player, no. But as far as goal scorer, easily I'll call him top. People would argue it's probably between him and Gerd Muller. Because if you look at Gerd Muller's international record, it's crazy. And shout out to husband Jonas Philbeck, who just was saying that, you know what? We probably need to put some respect on Gerd Muller's name. We probably need to put a little bit more respect on Gerd Muller's name. From a boy, MN, who says, how is Brazil with Rivaldo and Dinho top 10 GOATs? Dodd. Oh, MN, it's not about, okay, you see, if I use that argument, people will say, oh my gosh, a Brazil team with Ronaldinho, with Kaká, with Robinho, with Ronaldo, but they lost to France. Oh my gosh, a France team with Benzema, with Griezmann, with Mbappe, with Pogba, but they lost to Switzerland. So it doesn't matter who's on the team sheets. Watch the games. Watch the games. And if you watched the games, Dinho or not, it was Brazil got outplayed by Turkey. They got outplayed by Germany because you had all those names there, but that Brazil 0-2 team were inferior to the 98 team. Now, the 98 team were freaking amazing, but the 0-2 team wasn't great. And Ronaldo, he showed Dodd because his team weren't playing well, and he showed up. That's Dodd. And from the Chelsea perspective, man, thank you for the dub. Chelsea perspective, Copa America is a continental tournament, while the World Cup is a global tournament. Do you need a scale, bro? That's why I think people using that as an argument for him being the GOAT is stupid. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but him winning a continental trophy and you're now using that as like, yes, he's not done everything. No, that's stupid. What can he now do against France, against Germany, against the European teams who have now ruled the world for the past few World Cups?
They're actually planning to play Italy against Argentina in a game between the European champions and the South American champions. So if Messi wins that, he's basically got a World Cup. Let's be honest.
No, he's not.
No. Relax.
No. Don't play that crap with me because that game is a freaking friendly. It's not a World Cup.
You won a Club World Cup. Come on,
don't give me that crap. Are you saying that Italy are going to treat that game as seriously as they would a World Cup game? No,
Of
they
course they
wouldn't.
will.
It's a glorified friendly. So don't try that crap with me. Let me come to
Wait, hey, Kish,
Shan.
can I say something real quick?
Oh, go for it, Hassan. Go for it.
Yeah. My question is, does the GOAT debate even matter if you're not the best player to play this sport? If you could be the GOAT, but if you're not the best player to kick a football, does that really matter?
Wait, how do you mean? Explain that.
Like, the GOAT is about greatness. It's a mixture of how good you are and what you've achieved. But if you're not the best player to touch a football or grace a football pitch, does it really matter?
I mean, like, no, I mean, basically, for me, I think with regards to you being the GOAT, the basis is you have to be amongst one of the best. That's the main thing. So it's a combination. You've got to be one of the best. You've got to have amazing ability, and then that's how to now combine with how you now perform in high pressure situations. Forget the '86 World Cup and so forth. Maradona is one of the most gifted football players we've ever seen. So just as a footballer, he is one of the best football players that we've ever seen. You now add in the '86 World Cup, and you now add in what he did with Napoli. That now makes him shooting into a GOAT. So Drogba or Mario Götze can't be GOATs because Drogba, you wouldn't call him one of the best football players we've ever seen. You wouldn't call Götze one of the best football players we've ever seen. So those guys had great moments, but they can't be greats because them as individuals, they don't really have the same kind of ability that Maradona showed or Zidane showed or freaking R9 and Ronaldo showed. Let me come to you. So, Shan, talk to me.
Yeah, for me, Messi's not. He's not the GOAT for me. Maradona and Pele are ahead of him for me, but I do think that you disrespect him. HH. What's your top 5 again?
Top 5 greats or top 5 in terms of ability?
Great.
It's probably Arna, Kocha.
Like, bro, it's the horsemen. So in no order: Pele, Maradona, Zidane, R9, Beckenbauer.
Okay.
Those are greats. Now, if you don't talk about ability, that's a different list. But far as I was great, it's the 5 horsemen.
Why did you say in no order?
Because I wanted to say in no order. So,
No,
so
just say it. Just say it. We know who your number one is. Just say your number one. Just say who your number one is.
This brick puts R9 above Pele. Okay, don't take him
Bro,
seriously.
I know. I just want him to say it. I just want him to say it. Just say it.
Shad, keep talking. Shad, just talk.
Okay.
Talk. Shad.
Yeah. I don't like Messi because of his fanboys, but being objective, Messi is probably the best player I've ever seen, and he's at least top 2 best ever, in my opinion.
I agree.
Okay, quickly, Shan. Quick question: did you see R9 at his peak before his knee injury? Did you see him?
I've seen full games of him. That's what I'm saying. At least top 2 ever.
Who? R9?
No. Either R9, maybe Maradona, but I'm just saying at least top 2. He's in the conversation of at least top 2.
Okay, so you're saying that are you saying Messi is in the conversation of top 2, or are you saying R9 is in the conversation of top 2?
No, not R9. I'm saying Maradona, but obviously you say R9, but R9 not for me. No.
No, that's fair because I always ask the question of because most people I speak to who saw R9 play are like, I don't think there's ever been a player who's ever done what this guy has done. Because
I've watched full games of him, but I haven't seen him week in, week out like you have, so I can't really speak on him. But I've seen full, Maradona.
But to the question, so even if Messi doesn't win the World Cup, you still think that he's done it? So it's just to be clear. So let's say he doesn't win the World Cup. Do you still think that his resume and his repertoire as undisputed sets is enough for him to still be considered a GOAT? Longevity, consistency, Champions League, Copa America, even without the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely a GOAT. Yeah, definitely. And I think you say he's played with a stacked team. He hasn't done it for a shit team or whatever. But the 18-19 season was probably one of the best seasons I've ever seen from anyone. And that Champions League run, he was arguably man of the match in every single game. that Champions League run, he deserved to win that Champions League because it was just
He was
insane.
on crack. He was crazy.
What he was doing was insane.
But you see, Shan, like, because I remember even doing like one video where I said, look, this guy's a freaking alien. But I always said that if Messi had guided Barcelona to a Champions League victory, because look, ifs and buts, it just didn't happen. But let's say he did guide them to a Champions League. Like, let's say he got a goal at Anfield and they gave birth to Tottenham in the final.
Right.
That is probably the only time I would strongly reconsider my horseman status of you need a World Cup. Because if he had done that, it would have been the greatest carry job I've ever seen in my life. Ever. But it didn't happen. But it didn't happen. But if it has happened, no, I've always said like, I've never seen a guy carry a team like that before in my, like never, ever. And Cristiano has never done that. So let's just put it to one side. But, you know, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. But if he had done it, I'd be like, oh, geez, this is, now that's what you can call, see, now that's greatness. See, if he had completed that, if he had been able to win it with Barcelona, I'm like, you know what? That is an example of greatness because that is literally a degree of difficulty of you are just literally carrying this team on your back, you know. But Mr. Shido,
can I also say, the one thing that Messi I wouldn't like is his downfall is he's only showed up in one major final for Argentina, probably 2015, where 2015 he was the best player on the pitch, but that's the only one he's properly showed up for. And also that 2014 World Cup campaign is underrated. Against Belgium, he was amazing, but people don't give him credit because he didn't score or assist. But he was amazing.
What did you do in the semi and the final?
Yeah, exactly. But it's underrated, that campaign.
She-Dog, talk to me.
Yeah, so first of all, I think that Messi is clear of HH, fellow countryman R9. Yeah, because
he's clear based on what, bro? Did you see R9 before the injury? All right.
Because before his injury, R9 was making solo runs against teams like Compostela, who are worse than Granada, against food seller teams in Serie in the Europa League. So yeah, I cannot and flopped in the final.
Don't call late 90s teams fruit sellers. Relax. Yeah. He was doing this stuff against Maldini, Nesta, Cannavaro, the best defenders in the world. Okay, don't. He was doing it against the best. He wasn't doing it against these dudes. Okay, he wasn't doing it against dudes like this.
Well, so. So Compostela is worse than Granada, by the way. Okay, yeah, and I haven't seen any videos of him doing it against Maldini. So yeah, Beside that guy, I think Messi has a Copa America. He has a lot of Champions Leagues, Ballon d'Ors. He has the second most assists in World Cup history. So yeah, that's something to consider. He hasn't won a World Cup, but he has been the best player in one. So
he wasn't. 2014, Robin was better, Lam was better, Neuer was better. So don't give me that crap that he was the best player at 2014. That award means nothing. He wasn't.
In that World Cup, he was the best player in the group stage. He gave the winning assist against Belgium and Switzerland. So yeah, overall, he was the best player in that 14 World Cup, which brings him, for me, just behind Pele and Maradona. So he's either at their level. Maradona's number one for me. So yeah, to answer the question, he needs a World Cup to just surpass them. But I think he's on their level. For me, he's joint number one with those two.
Wait, joint number one with who?
Pele and Maradona. Or maybe just behind. But a World Cup would definitely bring
I'm just really glad that you didn't allow HH to brainwash you, because he's been convincing people that Zidane is on the level of Pele and Maradona. Thank you.
He scored in a Champions League final, World Cup final. What do you want to get to?
Yeah, undisputed, relax. Zidane's that.
Yes, no. This Zidane slander is disgusting. Honestly, undisputed. You try and you embarrass yourself as a football connoisseur by disrespecting Zidane. There is no football fan that disrespects Zidane. Nobody with
It's
a
not
brain
it's
disrespects
facts.
Zidane.
You disrespect Maradona by putting him in the same conversation as this.
You disrespect football by not respecting Zidane. So wait, let me hit this jobs. Let me hit his jobs. So from your boy MC, who says Zidane has 0 World Cups as he won it at home. Oh shush. Also, Iniesta is the only player that has a man of the match in a Euros, World Cup, and UCL final. Zidane also had good teams. Man U equals trash. Now, MT, first of all, Zidane has a World Cup because he scored 2 goals in France in 1998. So it counts. So leave Zidane alone. He has his World Cup. And also, if you want to use the home argument, his performance at the 06 World Cup pretty much brings everything into balance there. Yeah, cool. Iniesta, I respect Iniesta. Iniesta is he's one of the best midfielders of all time. Top 10 midfielders of all time, 100%. It's just not a horseman because I don't think he's had a greater impact on the game as Zidane. And don't talk to me, Zidane is a better player than Iniesta. Because whenever you mention Iniesta, bring Xavi as well. Iniesta, it comes as a double package. You don't bring,
for the price of one,
Iniesta with Xavi. Has Iniesta ever balled without Xavi? Has Iniesta ever balled without Xavi?
2015 Champions League.
Oh shush, that was MSN. That was MSN. What's it called? Zidane also had good team. The 98 team was not a good team. They weren't a good team. So please, they're not a good team. From your boy Detroit's Rock City, thanks for the dub. He says most talented player I have ever seen, hands down, was R9. There are those who watched R9 and those who didn't watch R9. Those who watched R9, he's the most talented player of all time. He is the best football player of all time. I lived through R9. I've lived through Messi. It's close. R9 is different. And that's why he was. Do you know what it means when they call you the phenomenon? He was so
There's
good.
So many more people live to say Messi.
What was Messi doing at 20?
Bro, anything in Portuguese sounds good, bro. Anything
what
in Portuguese.
Was Messi doing at 21 years of age?
Within Ballon d'Or,
Ronaldo at 21 years of age was carrying his country by himself, and they had to poison him to stop him enough. Do you know what it means that they had to poison a 21-year-old to stop him from a final? Levels. From your boy Latin Lozario, who says, to add to Nix's points, what does lowering standards say about the legends that won the big prize before you? Laugh out loud, it's a slap in the face. No, for me, like, it's don't change the standards, don't lower those standards. So because your legends won the World Cup and you can't win the World Cup no longer matters? No. You're being sad and you're just trying to change the argument to suit your goats. I'm sorry, it don't work like that, bro. The rules are in place and they will remain in place until further notice. From your boy Abraham Hinnock, thank you for the dub. Abraham Hinnock, thank you for the dub. He says, oh my God. Abraham Hinnock says, Stevie G has more clutch goals than Drogba.
Speaking facts, that's it.
Abraham, did Stevie G ever score a last-minute equalizer against a treble-winning team in their own home ground? Well, cricket? Wait, what? Oh, no. Okay. Did Stevie G ever score a last-minute equalizer against a treble-winning team in their own home ground? So that's one goal that Drogba scored negates every single clutch goal that Jairus was. That's alongside with Ramos. They are the 2 most clutch goals of all time.
Stop it.
No, 2005 is better. 2005 is better. Everyone knows 05
Go to
is
Wikipedia. That's a fact. They say that the 2 most clutch goals.
Gerard Dodd is better than Drogba.
Is the Drogba and the those are the 2 most clutch goals in football history. It's a fact. It's a fact.
Has Drogba ever done a bigger dud than Gerard? That's a question right there.
Yeah, no. 2012 was Dodd. That is literally Dodd.
2005 is better.
Look, that Milan team weren't that great, man.
No, stop that.
They were overrated, man. From your boy, did that Milan team ever win a treble? No, thank you. From your boy Richard Aina, who says Messi never had an elite performance versus an elite footballing nation in a major international final. Facts. Now, it could all change in 2022 But until he balls against an elite team in a semi, give me a semi, okay, give me a semi, then we can say what's up. So, but Messi is great and he's talented. When has Messi showed up in a major international game against a major international team, an elite team? Until you do that, your boy Whimsical Thought, man, thank you for the meal, man. Thank you for the meal, Whimsical Thoughts. Thank you for the meal. So Whimsical Thought says he needs it. But regardless of the World Cup or Copa, he's already etched his name in the game. And in the current era, name a superstar who can carry a nation to win the World Cup. Games evolved into team more so now than ever. No, look, for me, the game has changed. I think I mentioned it before, like we've gone away from individuals and more towards teams. But remember, someone asked me a question, said, who would you put as one of the favorites for the World Cup? And I put Argentina as one of those teams because I think Scaloni has a pretty good team. No, I mean, pretty good team. But Messi is a game changer. So even if we are living in a much more team-oriented era, game changers are still very key. Look at Italy. Look at what Chiesa did against Austria. Look at what Chiesa did against Spain. So the need for that one guy who out of nothing can just produce something will always be needed in football. That guy will always be needed in football. So maybe a player can't carry a team in the way that Maradona did in '86, but I still think that he can still be a major difference maker because at the World Cup, no team will have a player like Messi. You know, from Real Deal, who says, if Cristiano Ronaldo wins the World Cup, where would he rank to you? Ifs and buts. I don't want to cross that bridge. Real deal. So, so I'm not entertaining that argument at all.
Can you come to me next?
Oh, sure. But yeah, I don't want to entertain that and so forth because I just pray. I'm not real deal. I told you, if that happens, bro, you won't see me. you won't see me on the street because see, the World Cup is my final frontier. It's my one argument I can hold on to. So if Messi or Cristiano win it, I can't acknowledge it. So I just have to quit. I have to retire. From your boy, Mad Walker, who says, please watch the games. Just because he didn't score in those finals doesn't mean he didn't perform. What the hell? He literally carried this Argentina team. Mad Walker, I sat in this very chair watching the Copa America final. And the best player was probably De Paul. And the guy who was the game changer was Di Maria. So really, De Paul and Di Maria were the guys that reached on. And you know what? On a side note, people would argue that Neymar was actually also pretty good as well for Brazil in that same final. I watched the 2014 final, 2015, 2016. I'm sorry. His performances leading up were great, but his performances in the final games leave a lot to be decided. So yes, man, Walker, I've watched the freaking games, bro. I've watched the freaking games and the evidence in freaking there. Again, super talented, show up in a freaking final. So if the World Cup comes through, I will not acknowledge it until you show up in a final. I need you to score or be man of the match in that World Cup final before I acknowledge it. From your boy Emin, who says, you are a semi and final merchant. Messi balled in the Copa semi against Colombia. So, I mean, what are we saying here? Against Colombia, really? A Colombia team without James Rodriguez or Falcao? Come on, bro. YSK, talk to me.
So first and foremost, shout out to Martin Wazario in the live chat. Shout out to my fellow Latino. The goat. You know, I wanted to go next because this guy brought up an interesting point. He said he doesn't deal with ifs and buts. But hey, come on, man! Don't steal my flex. Why? Who's stealing my flex? Who's stealing my flex? He said he doesn't deal with ifs and buts, right? But isn't he like the guy constantly goes on about how R9 would have been, could have been? Was it not for the injury? If he wasn't injured, if he wasn't poisoned in this, so you know, a bit of hypocrisy there. But oh well, we continue. But I'm not gonna go on about this whole Messi thing because I think everybody's said what they need to say, and I've heard some really far end things that I shouldn't have heard. But here's the thing, though: Messi is if you argue that Messi isn't one of the greatest talents of all time, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. The only one that comes close to Messi is R9 in that bracket, in the bracket of talent.
Yes,
Talent wise, only one that comes close to is R9.
What about Maradona?
So
LSK, seriously, who the hell has poisoned your mind here? Who the hell convinced
bro,
you
no,
that
no, undisputed. Let me talk, please. Let me talk. I want to just go in here, man. Allow me. But that's talent wise. We're not talking the GOAT conversation because people get the whole GOAT and the best of all time thing mixed up. I'm not. They're in a different category when it comes to talent. GOAT wise, bro. El Fenomeno, that step over around the keeper merchant doesn't even make it to the top 10 list of the greatest of all time.
Oh, relax.
So
He doesn't even make it to the top 10
that
list.
World Cup
Wait, no, let me speak. I beg you, let me speak, please. You want to talk about dud, that 02 World Cup, right? That's your degree of difficulty. Do you want me to go through the team that started in that final? The Brazilian team that started in the final. Do you want me to go through that team?
Yeah.
No. Wait.
Do you want me to go to that team?
Why is I just said
Roberto Carlos.
Who was in midfield? Kleberson. Say his name. Kleberson.
Let me. Okay.
Say his name.
I'll say his name. Roberto Carlos, arguably one of the greatest left backs of all time. Cafu, probably the greatest right back of all time. You had Gilberto Silva, who was a key part of that Arsenal's invincible side. Kleberson, yes, you got to have a brick in your team. Any team you have a brick in your team. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo. You underestimate the effect of Ronaldinho and Rivaldo in that tournament, bro. Yes, R9 got that goal in the final. Who got them to that final? Bro, it was mostly down to Ronaldinho and Rivaldo. Rivaldo was he was if anything, he was the player of the tournament for Brazil in that World Cup.
Who scored the only goal in the semi by running from the halfway line with no help? Who?
So that's degree of difficulty just because of one.
You don't want to answer.
So by one goal is that's degree of difficulty, is it? And okay, that's Brazil.
Who scored both?
Wait. That's the Brazilian team. Bro, you don't want me to go through that German side. You don't want me to go through that German side. Because if you're gonna tell me that's dud, who did they have in their team? I don't recognize one player in that team apart from Klose and Kahn in goal. I don't recognize one player, and I played Football Manager since 2003. I don't recognize a single player from that team. I've not even heard of these dudes. That guy doesn't even make the top 10 list for greatest. Talent-wise, a different conversation. You can have that later on. But Messi, with this whole World Cup situation, right? To be the greatest of all time, he needs to win the World Cup. He's already in the conversation for the greatest, as in like he's in the top 10. He's lurking around that bracket somewhere. To be the greatest, he needs the World Cup. Because I don't care what the fanboys say. I'm not gonna count that joke of a tournament called Copa America, which is pretty much they picked up random street sweepers and favela market merchants from South America.
Why they say his name? Rich.
Brazil's got a strike. They went from Rivaldo to Richie Rich up front. HS people haven't still explained to me why he was crying after that final. They still haven't explained to me. So they picked up some random street sweepers from South America and they put them into a tournament called a Copa America. And you want to go on about how Messi did so well. Guys, that's what we expect from Messi. If he can't perform against those favela merchants in the Copa America, do we even rate that Messi that high then if he can't even perform against those dudes? That's what we expect from Messi. This guy performs in the Champions League. So if now we're gonna praise him for performing against some favela merchants from Latin America, but come on, bro, what are we doing? So fair play to him on getting what he needs to get done in the Copa America. It was pretty much handed to him. Let's face it. The organizers of the tournament pretty much said, "Bro, we gave you 5 chances. At least take this one, please. Just take this one. They laid it out on the map for him. So if he hadn't won it, then I would be coming up. I am with a very different energy. If he didn't win it, he had to win it. So fair play to him. I don't take it away from him. Yes, he ghosted in the final. He got possessed by Timo Werner in that 1-on-1. Who cares? He got the job done. He lifted the trophy in the end. But bro, that's not enough to declare him the GOAT. And I'm gonna piss off so many fanboys, man. It's cool to be the GOAT. He's already in conversation. The guy's got his career is. You can't say he's not one of the greatest. As in, you can't not put him in that conversation just purely based on his whole legacy so far. Even if he doesn't win the World Cup, he will always be in that conversation because he's done so much in football. And I think one of the reasons why he's so like thrusted high up into that greatest the GOAT conversation is because of his talent alone. Because he is such an impressive footballer, and his talent is almost second to none. That's why he's in that category mainly. Because if you talk about, because for me, one of the main aspects of being the greatest is your mentality in the biggest of occasions. In the biggest of occasions is one of the biggest categories of, not bigger categories, but one of those things that you have to consider when considering who is the greatest of all time. That dude's mind, bro, that dude's mentality is so bad. I mean, I've not seen a single player retire after failing to win a tournament, any tournament. I've not seen a single player retire, and this guy was in his prime. It's not as if it was in the later of his career where he was 36, 37. He was in his prime and he retired because he couldn't get the job done for, I think it was the third time that at that point. So his mindset is a huge letdown for that conversation. Because here's the thing: if he had the mentality of Diego Maradona, the dude would have World Cups and Copas galore right now. If he had that same mentality as Maradona, because he doesn't show up in the big games. Messi always performs well in the earlier stages of every single tournament. He does well. In the finals, the semi-finals, the dude doesn't turn up, and that's the truth. You can go back and look all you want. You can probably pick out. I mean, the obvious that comes to mind is the 2011 Champions League. I mean, I know that pretty well. I watched that game. It was. I always say. Relax. I always say that it was Messi that defeated us and not Pep, because people want to give Pep credit, but it wasn't. It didn't do with that tiki taka BS. It was Messi that finished us in that final. So there's moments there, but he doesn't turn up consistently enough. So for me, he needs that World Cup to be declared the GOAT. And to be honest, I'd say, would he make it to your top 5 right now? The top 5 GOATs?
Who? Messi?
Yeah.
Oh, no. My top 5 are the Horsemen.
Oh, just the Horsemen?
Yeah, the Horsemen. But because, see, my thing is, are people club GOATs? If, let's say, international football did not exist, it's literally between him and Cristiano as to the GOATs. If it was just purely on club football, it's between him and Cristiano, I would say it's probably Messi, because he has been consistently so good and quality. See, if, let's say, international football did not exist and it's only club football, then consistency is a lot greater, because club football is all about consistency because it's every week and the Champions League is every year. So it is about consistency. But when you now bring in international football, that's its moment, because it's every 4 years and the tournament is every 2 years. So it's about small margin of error, and you have to pick your moments, because there is no consistency in international football. It's about, this is it, these few weeks, get it right. If you don't get it right, you could now go to it another 2 years.
So he would make it purely based on consistency at club level.
If international football was not a factor, and it was only just
because it is, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, basically, because in international football, we now have to weigh up both things. He has conquered club football. That is like a huge
But
tip.
did R9 conquer club football?
Now, here's the thing about R9. Here's the thing
I understand the whole thing about the injury. I get it, and I've watched. Hold on. Guys want to say, "Oh, I'm 21, right?" So they're like, "Oh, you haven't seen him live, dude." I've seen this. The internet exists. I've seen videos.
It's different. It's different.
No, but it's not different.
No. Because see,
it's not as if the guy is animated. He's still in real life. I can see him. and I respect him for the talent that he is.
There is, even me talking about Maradona, I know that it would be different if you were living and there at the time, because when R9 was there at the time, I told you, I can't remember what FIFA game it was. There was a FIFA game where, because this guy was so huge, he was a trademark. So you couldn't actually use his name in a FIFA game. So his name was just like number 9 or something, because his name was, because he was pretty much the first like superstar.
That's product. FIFA 01. That's FIFA 01.
No. It's not 01, because no, this was when he was in his heyday. So it was either 97 or 98 where you couldn't use his name. So when you're living in a time where, like, this guy was like a freaking superstar merchandise thingy, because the kind of stuff he was doing was so crazy, it has a different effect on it, which is why so many guys in their 60s or 70s say, I don't care about Messi, Cristiano, Ronaldo, and R9 or Zidane, Pele. Because those guys who lived through with Pele, living through what we saw, nah, man, forget it. It's all about Pele.
See, but then you're only basing on one side, though. You can't. You gotta. The guy's a footballer's career is what ultimately determines their greatness.
You can look at the career, but for me, I am more about
because here's the thing. You can say that. You can say that, but then you can't make the argument against someone saying, "Oh, purely based on their Messi and Cristiano's club careers, that they won't make it into the GOAT list." Because that's being a hypocrite, because you're purely basing R9's international achievements, because the dude has no club career. Let's face it, he has one Europa League.
I have never called R9 the GOAT. So funny. I've never called R9 the GOAT. I've just said he is the best player I've ever seen. So just say, oh, he's like my GOAT. But objectively speaking, he can't be the GOAT because he didn't do enough in club football. So I just look at R9 as the best player I've ever seen. Now, Zidane is the dude because of what he did in the Champions League and what he did for France. Maradona,
Zidane?
Hell yes, Zidane. What the
wait, so he's your GOAT or one of the GOATs?
No. The GOAT is Maradona.
Who's your GOAT? Who's your GOAT? Okay, Maradona, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, Maradona is the objective GOAT. He is the GOAT, Maradona. Like what he did for Napoli and what he did for Argentina, boom, finito.
See, me personally, I think if either of these guys, Messi or Cristiano, gets that World Cup, like, it's not me trolling or anything. I think that GOAT conversation like starts and ends with those two. Like, you can argue that Messi, for many people, Messi, just based on his talent alone, would take over what Cristiano has done in his career, which is a shame, because it's like as if people forget half of Cristiano's career. Like the dude.
See, Wisegate, that's why I was sweaty in 2014, because my thing is, see, I've always said that Messi, like, there's no comparison based on talent. Messi is just far more talented than Cristiano. So my thing is, you see, but it's not just winning it. If, let's say, Messi drops a disaster class in the semi and the final and Di Maria saves him, I'm like, okay, you won the World Cup, but if Messi shows up, like in that semi and in that final, it's over. Like, then it's like, you know what, it's over.
Why? Even if Cristiano wins the World Cup, he's still below Maradona.
Bro, come on.
Still below Messi.
No. Maradona's a much better player than Cristiano. Much better.
Yeah, he's still below Messi.
No. The greatest of all time conversation, but we're not talking about best ever. The greatest of all time conversation. How are you going to make an argument against Cristiano?
Ability doesn't matter.
It does. That's what I'm saying. But guys like you are going to put more weight on that over the legacy that they built throughout their career, which is a much more of a bigger argument for their GOAT status over the whole best ever conversation. That's why I put R9 in that conversation for the best ever, because
we need to come. So before I come to IFAC and then let me just hit some of these dubs right now. So from your boy RD7171, thank you for the mail. RD717, thank you for that mail. So RDZ17 says, I agree that R9 is top 5 talented, but objectively speaking, the fact that he only has 16 UCL goals and no UCL title is a major blemish on his career. As a player, he did not complete football. And I agree. See, we have to be very clear with the arguments that are being made here. I have never made the arguments of Ronaldo being the GOAT. You see, my horseman arguments and so forth is very, very different from the GOAT arguments. Like, the GOAT arguments for me is you conquered club, you conquered the World Cup. Horseman is mainly best World Cup. So let's talk about GOAT. Horseman's on one side. So for me, I have never, ever, ever called Arnan the GOAT because due to his knee injury, he just didn't really have the effect on club football that he should have had. So I can't call him the GOAT. I've never said that. But talent speaking, I'm so guys. There's YouTube is the key. YouTube is your friend. Ronaldo, there is no better YouTube compilation than Ronaldo Impossible Technique. I'm sorry. That is the greatest YouTube compilation of a football player that exists on our planet called Earth. What you see that guy do, that's why it's called Impossible Technique, because he's doing things that you shouldn't be able to do. So when you watch that, it's like, no, this is the alien. This is that to do it because he's
Neymar's better.
That shouldn't be able to be done at such a freaking speed. So what's it called? Your boy Ryan, man, thank you for the job. So Ryan says Messi never bowled in a big World Cup tie like Zad versus France in 2018. I see no lies.
That's cap.
I see no lies. I see no lies. Ryan,
Messi never got a foul like Hazard.
See, people don't want to go there. People don't want to have that conversation. People don't want to have that conversation. But let's keep it real. Hazard has had bigger World Cup games than Messi. I'm just saying. From your boy Jay Jokin, who says HH once said Okocha was more talented than Messi. Now let me fully reiterate what I said. I said that because Okocha had the kinds of things that Okocha could do with the ball, Messi can't do. Like Messi is boom, amazing, but the kinds of things, the imagination and creativity that Okocha had with a ball, Messi couldn't. So Messi cannot do the kinds of mixture of
wouldn't
things
say that's skillful.
Okocha could do. Was it?
Wouldn't say that's more skillful instead of more talented.
No, same thing. Skillful things you can do. The imagination. I think that Okocha was a more imaginative player than Messi. Messi is better based on his consistency, his effectiveness, and how he's able to help the team and his multitude of. You could argue that, Messi is more talented. Of course, he's more talented because of his passing, his free kicks, his playmaking, and so forth. So because he's got a greater skill set. But just that, who is more creative with the ball is Okocha. Those are two different things. From your boy Chainsaw DH2, who says, Chainsaw says Messi is overrated. 2019 flop. Messi is the Cristiano Ronaldo of skills. Chainsaw, I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that. You can't call Messi overrated. One thing you can't say is that Messi is overrated. You can't say that. Messi is the furthest thing away from being overrated. And he didn't flop in 2019. He overachieved in 2019. It's just because he had a bunch of bums who couldn't really help him. So, you cannot call Messi overrated, man. You cannot call him overrated. Hell no. No way. And finally from Zed, who says, LL, Messi has had a better club career than... Why is everyone attacking R9, man? Has had a better club career than R9 or Diego has club careers. Messi is the best player of all time and one of the greatest. Z, typing in capital letters doesn't make your dub any more right. Because yes, he has a greater club career than those two, but for all Messi has done in his club career, he never did what Maradona did with Napoli. What Maradona did with Napoli is far greater than everything that Messi has done with Barcelona, and that's a fact. 100%, Messi has a better club career than R9. R9 gives birth to Messi with regards to international, because R9 showed up in a Copa America final and showed up in a World Cup final. I'm just speaking facts. Let me come to EFAC. Talk to me, bro.
Oh.
Yes, okay, there you go for it.
I think you're a bit wrong on this Messi thing. I think he is the best player of all time. If you look at his stats, he's literally better than everyone at everything. Even in that 2014 World Cup, he had the best stats for literally every attribute. And I know he didn't turn up in the final, but everyone was marking it, if you know what I mean, because he was the only player like that was going to turn up in the Argentina scene, because Di Maria wasn't on the pitch. And I think if Di Maria would have started, they may have had more of a chance to win that game. But it's hard to compare players from different eras, because, you know, Pele, he was playing on different pitches, Maradona's playing on different pitches. Maybe, like, you know, the player quality nowadays is a bit, you know, higher. I don't know, but for me, Messi, he's the best player that we've ever seen. As simple as that.
But to be great though, IFAB, shouldn't you have to show up in big games? Because my thing is, best is different. But when talking about greatness, don't the greats show up during periods of high pressure and specifically in major finals?
I'm a Manchester United fan. He absolutely lubricated us in that 2011 final. Like, literally, he was making us look like he's just different, man.
But what about World Cup final? The 3 Copa America finals that he played in.
Yeah, I guess that is a strong argument against him, but he did do well in the other rounds of the tournament, which you can't take away from him. Like, I know it's the final, that's the most important game, but, you know, Thierry Henry never showed up in finals. He's regarded as one of the best Premier League players ever. And, you know, so yeah, I think Messi is the best player of all time.
Okay. I am Ham, talk to me.
Look, man, for me, you know, I started off like...
Can you change that picture? Can you change your AVI, please?
AJ, stop hating, man. Stop hating. This is my guy. Okay? This is my guy. Please. You see this guy looking sexy on the pitch, man. Jesus, stop hating. Anyway, like when you think about the players, the 2 players that we've had this generation, like you just can't write them off, man. Like it's just written in stone. It doesn't matter if they win a World Cup or if they don't. What they've done was just it was just too much, because if you look at Messi and Ronaldo right now, at this late age, they just like leagues ahead of everyone else. You put these guys in any team, that team is winning the league, whatever league you're talking about. Whatever, like if you took these guys and you put them in the second best country in the world, that country is going to be the best. So I think, like, when you're talking about greatness, I think it just comes in different flavors, man, because when you're trying to compare like someone like Pele and Messi, you just can't do it. But when you look at what Messi has done, like, it's just there's no way you can call that not greatness, because this guy, when he won the Champions League, he literally, as a midget, dunked one of the most athletically one of the best strong defenders, like in Rio. He literally dunked Rio in a final to score. And like you look at Ronaldo, like what he's done when he started, like when he knocked out England.
You're bringing back memories that you don't need to bring back. You need to relax.
No, I do need to bring them back.
I'm Ham. Continue. I will meet him. Please continue. Go into detail. More detail.
These were players like these were baby players. That's when they were starting. Like, look at what they were doing in 2013, 2014. Like that was football at a whole nother level. Right now, I'm looking at film like, you know what? We should have been enjoying those times, because right now it's nothing like that. No one's even at that level, because that's how good these guys were. That's how great they were. They literally turned football into a whole different sport, where people were just counting goals. This guy scored this many goals this year. This guy scored this. We were counting goals because these guys just didn't stop. They just didn't stop. So when you're talking about Ronaldo, Messi, it's just a different flavor of greatness where it's just longevity, is high quality at the highest level. When you're talking about Ronaldo from Brazil, you're talking about someone who literally could just make people just want to stop playing the game because it felt like he was cheating on the pitch. So it just comes in different flavors, man. Anyone, whichever player you think is like the epitome of football for you, that's fine. Because like there is no right way of looking at it. Like if you go, for some people, they say, I want to see one season and that's it. When I say Van Dijk, what a defender, legendary defender. Yes, he hasn't done it for thousands of years. He did it for 1 year. But that 1 year, he showed what he can do, right? And we haven't seen anything like that before. And that's literally what greatness is.
So are you then making the argument that if you are able to be truly exceptional in just a finite moment in time, that is a good argument for somebody who is just like super consistent?
Yes, like you could be very, very good for one season. And the way you are good, like when we think about Forlan's performance in the 2010 World Cup, like as much as people forget about Forlan, for some of us, Forlan just sticks in our minds because of what he did in one World Cup. It was just amazing. And there's many different players that did that for other people. But like when it comes to greatness, it you have to specify, you know, like what you're talking about. Otherwise, it can't happen because, like, if I would say who are the greatest generals, I can't put Shaka Zulu and Julius Caesar in a battle between armies, man. Like, it's not gonna happen. But you can still see that yes, this guy was great in his own way. This other guy was great in his own way. So, yeah.
I'm so happy you're back, bro. Only you can put Julius Caesar into Mexico.
Shaka Zulu.
Never would I have thought that Shaka Zulu would somehow turn up in one of his hangouts, man. Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so basically before I come to Suleiman, let me just be up on the dubs for you guys before I come to Mr. Suleiman. Zed. Oh, who's here? That's correction. Messi's international career greater than R9's club career. No, because Messi won a Copa America, cool. R9 won a UEFA Cup. So you could argue that the UEFA Cup is equivalent to a Continental Cup. You know, World Cup, Champions League, UEFA Cup, Continental Cup. So and no, yes, Messi won the Copa America after how many tries? What, 3 Copa Americas in a row? Give me a break. Shane Schubert, who says, you guys break the word objectively left and right. Look, maybe they've bricked it, but objective is you remove your personal bias away from everything. I believe that the objective GOAT is Maradona. My personal GOAT, my subjective GOAT is Ronaldo, R9. I believe the objective GOAT is Messi, because when you just take everything considered and so forth, and you move your personal bias aside, your personal preference.
Wait, Messi is your objective GOAT?
Messi, no, Messi is not my objective GOAT. No. I said Maradona is.
Wait,
is that Messi?
HH, I think that's an interesting thing you brought up actually, Shane, as well. Wait, do we have enough time to go around the room and ask who's their objective and subjective GOATs?
Oh yeah, no.
I want to clown people. Yeah,
so let me just read this one that we can do that. So Martin Rosales says, not gonna lie, I'm gonna enjoy seeing Messi tear Nigeria's ass. Crying emoji. Martin, first of all, where are you from so I can clown your country? That's the first thing. And the second thing is this. Messi wouldn't beat a 98 team or a 94 team. So Messi beating this Nigerian team, it's not the same. And if that dude who played for Man United hadn't bricked his chance in the 2018 World Cup, we would have actually knocked out Argentina in the group stage. But it is what it is. From Whimsical Thoughts, who says, if country and club if we're talking about country and club, talk about Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller. Yes. The reason why Beckenbauer is a horseman. Because when you look at what Beckenbauer did for Germany or what he did for Bayern Munich, he's that dude. Gerd Müller is a name I think needs to be put more respectable. And I think, again, shout out to your boy Jonas Philbeck, who said, bro, if you look at Gerd Müller's stats, and Gerd Müller, I think, has the best goal-to-game ratio in international football history. When you just look at what he's won and his goal scoring, but he is basically, Gerd Müller is in terms of when you score. So the amount of important goals he scored, people are sleeping on Gerd Müller. Like those German guys, Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller, people are sleeping on those dudes, man. So let me come to Suleiman. Talk to me. You're doing this whole Messi thing.
Okay, so the question was, does Messi need a World Cup to be considered the GOAT, right? For me, I don't think he does necessarily need to win the World Cup. I just think he needs to ball in a World Cup semi, or he just needs to perform on a big stage for Argentina, even if he doesn't win it. Because the Copa America is great and all, but like you can't compare it to the World Cup. And even in the Copa America final, he was okay. Like he was decent. I don't think he bricked it. It's just that he didn't have like a really good game like other players did, like DePaul and Di Maria. So if Messi has like a goal scoring, like he scores like 2 goals to win the win like a game in the semi World Cup, I think that's good enough for me.
Okay, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Zed, talk to me. What is some of this whole thing, Zed?
Oh, on what question? Like, does he need a World Cup?
Yes, does he need a World Cup to be considered to be the goal?
I don't think so. I think Messi is the one player you can make the exception that he's so talented that I think that alone puts him in the conversation for GOAT. Like no other player is able to combine all the attributes that he has. I mean, okay, you talk about Maradona. So okay, he's a great dribbler, but he doesn't have the goal scoring of Messi. Zidane has the playmaking, but
Put
doesn't have
skills to one
dribbling
side. Big game. So we're not talking about talent and ability. We get, of course, Messi is one of the talents that we've ever seen. We're talking about greatness. I'm talking about big games, high pressure situations. Does he have that?
Yeah, 2 goals in 2 Champions League in 3 Champions League finals. I think he has the most final game goals of all time.
How many goals has he scored for Argentina in major finals?
How many man of the match performances
No. You don't answer a question with a question. I asked you a question. How many goals does he have for Argentina in major international finals?
I mean, I don't think he has any, but his performances are always one of the best. He's always like he's won how many man of the match man of the match awards.
So he was man of the match in the 2014 final. Was he man of the match in the 2014 World Cup final?
Maybe not in the final, but he was the best. I think he was the best player in the tournament.
Don't talk to me about the biggest game, the biggest moment, the biggest stage where Pele said what's up, where Maradona said what's up, where Beckenbauer said what's up, where Zidane said what's up. In the biggest game and so forth, where it is the highest degree of difficulty, has Messi shown up in these international games? Has he? It's a simple question.
Maybe I'll give you that. Maybe not in the finals. But the things he does in the lead up to the finals gets them to the finals in the first place. And because of his performances, they've been to 4 finals in the last decade or something like that. And they managed to win one eventually. So I think that alone. I don't think he has the best international performance of international career of the GOATs, but I think he's had enough. He's done enough for Argentina that it puts him over the edge. I think, especially when you take into account obviously the talent, which is ridiculous, and his obviously club career is second to none. So that's what I think.
I got a quick question for HH, man.
Yes.
Did you know that Argentina wouldn't even be participating in the 2018 World Cup if it wasn't for Messi qualifying them? Like they were this close for not even like being part of it against Ecuador. He scored like a hat trick. So
man, I know that, and I remember, and again, that is quality. That is amazing. But we need you in the World Cup semi. We need you in the World Cup final. We need you in the Copa America final. The biggest game, the biggest moment, the biggest stage, and the highest difficulty, we need you now. That is great what he did. But look at what Zidane did. Because remember, they got Zidane out of retirement to help France qualify for that 06 World Cup, because without him, they couldn't qualify. And then when he was at the World Cup, he led them all the way to the final, being one of the players of the tournament. And then, what happened. So let's just do this whole thing that what Wisegate said, man. So we'll go around the room. So your objective GOAT and your subjective GOAT. So remember, objective is you remove your personal bias aside and take everything, consider who do you think is the objective GOAT. Subjective GOAT is for you, based on what you've seen in a player, what you see in a footballer. Who is it for you? So for me, the objective GOAT is Maradona. What he did with Napoli is incredible. Napoli have never won. Napoli have only won 2 league titles in the entire history, and that was with Maradona. And what he did in '86, the 2 goals against England, the 2 goals in the semi-final against Belgium, and the key assist in the World Cup final. I don't know what more can you ask for, combined with just how good he was. My subjective GOAT, my personal GOAT, is Ronaldo. I've never seen a player as talented as him. Before the knee injury, he is the best player I've ever seen in my life. And what he did in 02, for me, is the greatest display of mental strength I've ever seen in a football player. Because based on coming back from a knee injury, with everybody doubting him, people thought he was finished, to have the mental strength to come clutch and key for Brazil when everyone thought you were finished is the greatest degree of mental strength I've ever seen. So my personal GOAT, my subjective GOAT is Ronaldo. My objective GOAT is Maradona. Rob, take it away.
Yes, and my subjective GOAT is also Maradona, I think, because of what he achieved with, especially with Napoli, which was a very poor team at the time. And with personal, I would think maybe Van Basten. I have to go with for personal.
Okay. So basically, so your objective GOAT is Maradona, and your subjective is Van Basten.
Yes.
And also, I remember the thing with Van Basten is that basically, if he didn't have that knee injury, because he's already considered one of the best strikers of all time. So if he didn't have that major injury, he'd probably be seen as one of the best strikers ever. I mean, he scored the best volley of all time. That is the best volley ever scored.
Yes, he scored also in the Euros final, and he basically retired at the age of 29-30 because of injuries.
I mean, because Van Basten was a little bit before my time, but still, when you just look at the kind of goals that the guy was scoring and
he won the
how good he was.
League 3 times, and he was a top scorer at the Euros.
Okay, so cool. Okay, so Shidok, talk to me, man. Your objective and your subjective GOAT.
Yeah, so my objective GOAT is Pele. I think there cannot be any argument because 3 World Cups. Yeah, what he did for Santos. So objectively, Pele is the best one, but subjectively, I think that I put 2 players on the same level. Like I said earlier, I put Maradona and Messi on the same level. That's subjectively for me. Yeah.
And why no love for Cristiano Ronaldo?
Because
don't start out all those goals that he scored.
You said his piece. You said his piece. Move on.
Because Ronaldo's greatest achievement. Yeah, you mean Cristiano?
No, right? Well, I'll just look. I'm protecting the goats. I'm trying to protect the goats, man.
No, you mean Cristiano?
No. But Shidok, I want to know. No, I want to push you. If you had to choose, there was a nuke pointed to your head. You had to choose Messi or Maradona, and why? If you had to choose, you can't. You have to choose one, Messi or Maradona.
Yeah, first answer what you just said. So you said why not Cristiano? Yeah, because for me, Cristiano's greatest achievement is just being compared to Messi. That's all. So yeah, that's why I'm not putting him in there. So and if I had to choose between Messi and Maradona, I would take Maradona. Yeah.
I want to repeat what She-Dog just said. So, I will share She-Dog's phone number, his socials, and his address. She-Dog said that Cristiano's greatest achievement is being compared to Messi.
Ooh.
That's messed up. That's She-Dog. You better She-Dog. You better be careful
It's
what kind of
true.
alley and streets you now walk down. Just be very careful, bro.
Yeah, that's all.
So, Mr. Ifak, talk to me. Your objectives and your subjective goals.
I think my objective goal is either Messi or Maradona. But subjective is probably Cristiano, because what he did for United was just amazing, to be honest. And Zidane as well, because, his elegance with the ball and stuff. He was superb. Yeah.
So who is your? So you have to choose one. So if your objective goes Messi or Maradona, if you have to choose one,
I think Maradona. Messi's a better individual, but Maradona had that. He could carry a team on his own. He won that '86 World Cup on his own.
Okay. Shan, talk to me. Your objective and subjective goal.
Objective Maradona. Subject. What does subjective mean? Like my favorite player.
So subjective is for you personally. Basically, objective is personal bias aside. You're just looking at it overall. Subjective is for you personally. So this is when you can be biased. So subjective is you personally, you being biased.
My favorite
Objective is removing all bias.
Still Maradona. But shout out to Zico.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Maradona is both your personal and overall goals.
Yeah. Favorite player.
Okay. Suleiman, what about you?
So for my objective goal, so that would be no bias. That would be Maradona, because the clutchness he showed for the World Cup in 1986, that's incredible. And I don't think Napoli has ever won a league title after he left. So, yeah. For subjective, I would say Messi, because I'm a Barcelona fan. And honestly, the things that he's done for us, it's insane. I think his worst ever goal tally, throughout his career for us, was last season, which was 30 goals. And that's still a lot. So I would have to say Messi for my subjective goal.
So wait. So Messi's worst goal tally is 30 goals.
No, I mean he had worst goal tallies when he was younger, but I'm talking about throughout his prime career.
Oh, throughout his prime.
Yeah.
Okay, and I say, didn't he score 50 goals 1 year in one time?
Yep, 2012, I believe.
In La Liga, yeah.
I love La Liga, man.
Zed, can I ask a question quick?
Go for it.
What's your trade-off in being in the GOAT debate? What's your trade-off between best player and achievements and all big game performances? What's your trade-off?
For me, your big game. For me, I put a lot of stock in big game performances, but not to a crazy degree. Hence why I use the example of Drogba. Drogba was one of the best big game players out there, but because as a player, he wasn't a supernova amazing player, you can't really put him in there. That's why Maradona is such the perfect example of the GOAT, because Maradona as a player was so just forget achievements. If let's say Maradona never won the World Cup, he never won anything. Just as a player, ability-wise, he's one of the best players we've ever seen. His ball control, his dribbling, football IQ, the kind of things that he could do, the kind of goals he could score, the way that he played the game, the great play with the game. So, but when you now combine how good Maradona was with his achievements, that is what the GOAT is. So it is like a combination with just a little. It's just tilting a little bit more in the big game category. So obviously, you have to have your achievements, because the achievements is very key, but it's the achievements mixed in with your ability, but also what you did in big games. Hence why I think Arbeloa has won everything, but no one cares, because all Arbeloa has is achievements. Integrates player, has no big game performances. But when you look at a Zidane, UCL final, World Cup final. He's regarded as one of the best midfielders of all time. And then obviously he's got all the achievements and saying what's up in those big games. So I think that's where I sort of look at that trade-off between the two. So it's really a combination, but people need to put more stock into what to do in big games, and people don't. I think where the disconnect is people put a lot of stock in consistency. So if Messi scores like a hat-trick against Lugo, oh my gosh, he's the GOAT. Or if Messi does past 5 guys against Eibar, he's amazing. It's like, that's cool, but let him do that against Bayern in a CL semi or CL final. Because if he does that against Bayern in CL semi final, all right. But doing it against Lugo, it's Lugo.
Respect Lugo.
Lugo. So, so where are we here? So, I think. Wait. So did I come to you, Zed?
It's me. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. The thing you just said, are you implying that he's not done it against the likes of Bayern in major club semifinals and finals? Like what he did to Boateng, what he did to Neuer in that one game.
But
the sole goal against Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League.
Okay, him doing that to Boateng, okay, that's a cool move. Were Barcelona losing? Were they being outplayed? Was it a difficult thing?
No, but the game. I think the game was tied at that point. Actually, no, that was the second goal. The first goal, near post against Neuer. The game was like tied. It was anyone's game at that point. He opened the game.
End result. Didn't they give Bethem like 3-0, 4-0? They beat the crap out of them because
they beat them 2-0.
Play man to man.
I think they beat them 2-0 or 3-0 in the first leg.
Because Pep was playing man to man.
What's that?
Because Pep decided to go man to man on MSN.
He
changed.
That was MSN. Oh, was that MSN? Yeah, it was MSN. But anyway, in terms of subjective, so I think it's Messi. I think it's clear. My interpretation of this question is, in terms of the eye test, I mean the dribbling, the passing, the vision, free kicks, long shots, finishing, combination play, like everything. This guy has every attribute you could possibly want in an attacking player. I don't think there's any player that's ever managed to combine so many attributes and each at such a high level over such a long period of time as him. So I think it's pretty obvious subjectively. And objectively, I mean, 748 goals, 315 assists in about 900 games, 91 goals in 1 year, 73 goals in a single season. He has pretty much every record in Spain and holds most records in Europe. He's carried Argentina to 4 finals and won 1, luckily. Multiple golden boots and golden balls in multiple tournaments, has an Olympic gold medal, under 20 World Cup and a Euro, Copa America.
Did this man just say an Olympic gold medal and an under 20?
No, I was just adding that stuff for completeness.
Don't add anything, subtract it.
Ask Brazilians. ask Brazilians if the Olympics is not important. They can't just cherry pick,
bro.
That's why I added it.
This isn't the
Olympics. Look at Richie Rich. Look at Richie Rich.
This guy opened his mouth and said under 21 and Olympic gold.
No. Messi and Richie Rich knows about the Olympics, bro. They know about
that. Forget those two things I said at the end.
No. I won't.
Don't cherry pick that thing I said at the end.
No. It's been saved in 4K. Saved in 4K. This guy said under 21 and he thought we would even notice. Look at this guy. Mr. Link James, next Sunday, Pep's getting trashed because it has to happen. Like, I mean, there was no way. So next Sunday is dedicated to Pep. It's a full hangout. So next Sunday is Pep. So where are we at? Okay, so Jamal. So same thing you've already just Jamal. So let me hit you with a double barrel. So first one is, in your opinion, do you think Messi needs the World Cup in order to be considered the GOAT? And the second question is, who is your objective GOAT, taking away your own personal bias? And who is your subjective GOAT, using all of your own personal bias?
You see, it's a tough one, man, because all these players have flaws. And that's the thing. But for me, I say to be the GOAT, it have to be what you do in big games, consistency, and talent. And I say, Messi, he has talent. That's a fact. The next thing is big games. Now, you see, the thing with Messi in big games is what he did against Bayern. He scored in 2 Champions League finals. So we have big moments. But is it really the biggest moments like a World Cup semi, a World Cup final? He don't have it. But do these guys have consistency? Because AJ, I feel you're sleeping on consistency, man. Because yes, he stuck parts against the small teams in La Liga, but you know how hard it is to keep doing it every season. That is why it have things like one season wonders.
Don't underrate consistency.
This guy for about 16 years has been scoring 30 goals plus every season. I checked it. That's hard, man. But for me, I agree with you. It have to be Maradona. The reason why is because that thing what you said about what he did for Napoli. is Napoli have 2 titles, and this guy, this guy has won the both. But do you not say by Maradona not having a Champions League? Don't you not watch that and say that's a big flaw?
No. My thing is that it is a flaw and a drawback, but what he did with Napoli and thing is so great. And you see, the thing about the Champions League is this, and I'm the biggest UCL merchant out there. The Champions League that you guys won in 05, I value that more than the Champions League that Messi and Cristiano have won. Because Liverpool had no business beating that's AC Milan side. So that's something, it's like, oh no, that's a serious win. But the nature of club football is you can create your super teams. So you can not only create your super teams, you're playing every single week with the best coaching that you have on a consistent basis. And I always say to people, like, again, a win is a win. A win is a win. But Messi's 2 UCLs are with a Spain team who won 3 international trophies in a row. And his other UCL is with 2 players who are arguably the best players in the world. So it's like, yes, it's still an achievement, and you still need to go out and perform, but you had an amazing foundation. Because people call that Barcelona side one of the best teams of all time.
Yeah.
HH.
Yeah.
HH. Oh, sorry.
Now, can I just finish? Yeah, I just want to say, yeah. So for me, you asked what is my personal good, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be on the fence. I'm gonna say, out of all these guys we're talking, I'm 22, so I only really seen Messi in real. So I feel it's kind of hard to say the other guys because I haven't really seen them. So I'll say Messi. But one thing I see you said, HH, and I really wanted to talk about is you said R9 was the best footballer or the most talented footballer you ever see. But are you only watching his dribbling?
That's cap.
Because if you do a football battle, what Ronaldo really have on Messi? Because maybe you could say R9 is the most skillful player you ever seen. But to say talented, you have to bring in passing, you have to bring in free kicks, you have to bring in shooting. So can you explain what you mean by R9? Because I think you mean dribbler or most skillful dribbler, but not really talent.
I'll say it's a very because you're right. If there was a football battle and so forth, Messi would probably win because if I'm bringing passing, playmaking, and so forth. But I take it to a very basic level, and the very basic level is if we're out in a park, or if I just if let's say I didn't know who Ronaldo was, I didn't know who Messi was, I just saw them play. So if I just walked into a park or thingy and I just saw Ronaldo and Messi play, I'm like, damn Messi, look at the passes he's doing, look how hard it is. But when I look at Ronaldo, I'm like, this guy's fast, this guy is strong, and the kinds of things that he's doing. Because Ronaldo is doing stuff where like, oh, how the heck did he do that? It's like, what the hell? Because they were interviewing Van Nistelrooy. And because this was on Rio's show, like 5 Live, and Rio asked Van Nistelrooy, who is the best player you've ever seen? And Van Nistelrooy said Ronaldo. And he said, remember, this is when Van Nistelrooy was at Real Madrid. So this was post the injury, because Van Nistelrooy said that some of the things that Ronaldo did in training, he said it was shocking. So for me, it's like an aesthetic thing. You see, football battle is purely objective. Stats. But for me, if I'm watching Messi, I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. Before watching Ronaldo, I like, no, I am more drawn to what he does because of he's doing things. He's doing much more creative things. So the way in which he beats him and the way he tries the ball, I'm like, wait, how the hell did he do that?
So would you say Neymar is a better dribbler than Messi? Because that's the next point. Because Neymar dribbling is better to watch. if you really think about it.
Same thing with Dini. See, I think it was Hullet, because Hullet said it. Because I remember there was one CL game, and Hullet said that Messi's dribbling is like PlayStation.
Yeah,
it is.
Correct. Yeah.
So basically, it's like, like whenever you don't use any of the special buttons on PlayStation,
that's me.
and you just use the direction control, that's Messi, where he's just beating you.
And the feints, you just use the feints.
Yeah, basically, you just use because really, for me, the way Messi dribbles is how I dribble on computer games, because I never use any of the special moves.
We all do. We all do, HH. We all do.
There you go. but if you look at Dino and Thingy, it's step overs, it's elastic holds, it's putting the ball through your legs, it's drag backs, it's using your right and left foot, it's pirouettes. So it's more elaborate. So for me, if I'm watching Ronaldo, I'm like, wow, look, it's much more impressive because of the style. Messi is like, no, I just want to beat you, because I want to go from point A to point B. Neymar is, I don't want to go to point B, but let me just go here, then here, then here, then here, because he's bringing style into it.
Yeah, they want to embarrass you. So yeah, I gotta go, guys, but I just wanted to raise that point because I always hear you saying that how Ronaldo is the most talented. So I just want to know if you mean dribbling or if you mean overall, like in a complete package. But yeah, guys, I gotta go. So peace.
All right, peace. So Z-Man, same thing to you, man. So do you feel that Messi needs to win the World Cup in order to still be considered the GOAT? And who is your objective GOAT and your subjective GOAT? And then we'll round off with YSK.
Yeah, this is you see, I think consistency is by far one of the hardest things to do in football. I think it is, because how much players are consistent. We've seen many players show up in big games, but how much players are consistent. And overall package, from what I've seen from Messi, I think this guy has he has all of the acclimates when we're talking about top 5 in terms of just doing all-round things that we've seen on the field. So for me, in terms of him being the GOAT, there are many candidates. I think this whole GOAT thing is made from fan bases just trying to divide up and just trying to basically support their player. It's for fun. But in terms of what is a GOAT, it's also about your impact on the game. How much did you elevate the game overall? And I think, Messi is one of those. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is one of those. I think Pele is one of those. You look at Beckenbauer's impact on what it means to be a center back and just his leadership. I think he's one of those. In terms of him needing that World Cup, I do think he's had a good 2014 World Cup, but speaking in the next World Cup, I think him having an incredible performance will only help him, not hinder him. So I do think it's going to be important for him to have a good World Cup. In terms of who I view my GOAT, and I want to come back to the talent thing. R9 is not the most talented footballer. He's an excellent dribbler. He's a phenomenon. He's an incredible dribbler. But when we're talking about talent, we're talking about overall package. For me, as a person who's a big fan of playing in the middle of the park, for me, what's talent is your vision. What's talent is your set piece expertise. What's talent is your goal scoring abilities. Now, I will say this, even though I do say that, I do think that R9 is he's actually an incredible goal scorer. If it wasn't for the injuries, I think he's an incredible dribbler.
They said that no player has dribbled the keeper more times than Ronaldo.
Yeah. In terms of just purely watching a player on the ball just run at players, this guy is fantastic. He's absolutely amazing, and there probably won't be a player like him if we're being honest. The way the game is moving. In terms of who I see as my objective GOAT. For me, you see, Maradona was an interesting character, to say the least. If I'm objectively looking at it, the fact that he's won Napoli, 2 league titles when they've never won that in their life, and they haven't accomplished that, and the fact that this guy has led his team in the World Cup, and he's such a complete player. But speaking from that moment, for me, in terms of GOAT status, it would be Maradona. But at the same time, I just want to give honorable mentions to, you know, Pele as well. I feel like majority of us, you know, it's all for jokes. You know, we tend to disrespect Pele for his accomplishment. We tend to say, who was he facing? The fact that he was doing moves that weren't necessarily common in that time, and the fact that other players have mimicked his moves, and how much he's elevated Brazil as a nation, I think that should also be respected. But for me, it's Maradona.
So you also want to come back to the talent thing. So you say that, because my thing though is that I get what you say in terms of vision, passing, and so forth. But talent comes in many different ways. A talent is reading the game. A talent is timing that tackle. A talent is movements. A talent is knowing how to beat the keeper. A talent is knowing how to beat a player or how to beat several players. So it comes in many different packages. But I would agree that Messi's talent pool is far greater because he now brings in playmaking and passing, which Ronaldo didn't really have. You know, so it's like, yeah, I'll give you that. So why I was that, you know, for Ronaldo, it's the player that just had the biggest impression upon me, which is why I just said, like, if we go to a pub, Ronaldo just had the biggest impression on me as a player amongst anyone. But when I talk about talents, we now have to not be objective in our list attributes, which of course Messi has more of. YSK, talk to us, man. Your objective and subjective go.
So objective, it has to be Diego, and mainly, like, obviously you have his accomplishments and everything, but the guy, who he was as a person, like, plays so much into it. Because I see Messi, I look at Messi and the way he plays the game, it's hard not to, like, be impressed by who he is as a footballer, as a talent. But there's no personality in how he plays the game. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no character in where he plays. If you don't understand,
you hit. That's the key. And also, see, here's the thing. That's not an insult. See,
yeah,
people
it's not,
because he has, like, the thing with Messi is, again, it goes back to what Hullet said. Like, what Hullet said was perfect. It's like PlayStation. And remember, PlayStation is a machine. So what Messi is a boom, 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 boom. But there is no personality to what he does. The reason why the streets will always revere Ronaldinho is he brings so much personality to the game. Because he's like, no, I want to beat you. Because I'm going to decide to hold the ball up and do this and brand. So it's like, oh, he's really thought about this particular thing that he wants to do. Messi is, no, we're here to win the game. Beat him, put the ball through there. Messi wants to know, I'm going to beat you in a particular, specific way to say what's up.
Exactly. See, and obviously, guys who are just, you know, completely engulfed by the whole Messi thing, they're gonna be like, well, it doesn't matter about the personality. He does this. He does talking with you know what he does with the ball. But it's a lot more. I mean, you don't fall in love with a game just because you see a guy faint and just, you know, score goals. You fall in love with football because of, you know, an identity that a player shows on the pitch. That's why I say it's like, you know, as much of a flop that Robinho has been, that guy on the pitch when he was playing at, you know, at a certain peak level, he was amazing. He was one of the, you know, obviously I think he matches more with HH's talent sort of, you know, category, with the whole dribbling thing, because he was one of the greatest dribblers I've ever seen play the game.
You see, I have to disagree, bro. I have to disagree.
Robinho?
No. I have to disagree with this whole dribbling thing and falling in love with dribbling. It's also the passing. Seeing a player accomplish a pass that you didn't see. It's fascinating. It opens you up to the game.
But YSK, did you hear the word he used? He used the word personality.
It's not just dribbling, bro. It's just the way you play the game. It's difficult to explain. I can't use a different word other than personality to explain it. I guess it is something that you cannot be objective with, because it's arrogance is another good word. Yeah, arrogance is a good word.
No. Personality
So
is right.
you're,
It's like
you're criticizing Messi for not being a coke addict and a degenerate. Like,
Relax.
personality.
No. Basically, no. The point that Whitescape is making is that so Messi, whether it's the passing thing and so forth, for Messi, he just has this innate talent. So it's sort of like autopilot. He sees the pass, boom, boom, boom. But for someone like a Ronaldinho or a Robinho, Ronaldo is no. I have a particular personality off the pitch, and I'm bringing that onto the pitch. Which Ronaldinho is the perfect example, because hence why Ronaldinho is one of the most special players we've ever seen. Because Ronaldinho was, I have a style. I'm a particular kind of guy, and I want to see. Ronaldinho was, I want to entertain the crowd. Like as Maximus said in Gladiator, are you not entertained? Is that not why you're here? Ronaldinho is not, I want to entertain the crowd. Messi doesn't want to entertain the crowd. He's here to win the game. Ronaldinho wants to entertain you. Because
I would argue
that wants to say, "Oh man, look at what I did."
I would argue that Messi doesn't set out to entertain the crowd. He sets out to win, but he's so good that his way of winning is to do things that are pretty mesmerizing and pretty amazing. That ends up being entertaining. I think that's why he's amazing, because he doesn't set out to be flashy.
No. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not disputing he's that amazing.
His highlights are a side effect of his willingness or his desire to win. And the fact that he doesn't set out to be entertaining, but still manages to do that by wanting to win, I think it says a lot.
I think
basically, put it this way: if a gun was put to my head and I had to either watch a highlight reel of Messi or Ronaldinho, I know who I'm picking. So,
I agree. Yeah, no one's.
Yeah. I agree. It's about.
Messi's pretty entertaining too, though.
No, it's about.
I'm not debating that.
It's about those individual moments on the ball where it's just the player having fun with the ball. I think that's what it comes down to.
For example, Messi would never score that goal that Ronaldinho scored against Chelsea.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Because only Ronaldinho would think of doing that. Like, only a guy would think of, oh, Seaman might be off the line. Let me just chip him from the halfway line.
Yeah, but the same thing could be said Messi against Getafe.
The ball is going to come. I'm going to chest the ball, twist, and then do an overhead kick.
But as a football purist, there are a few things as beautiful to watch as, for example, the 5-0 win against Real Madrid. Messi gets the ball in midfield, shoulder fakes, drops to the shoulder, dribbles past, I think, was it... who was it? I can't remember. But dribbles past like two people and it plays Iniesta in. Was it Iniesta? Or was it David Villa? One of the two.
It was David Villa.
Like that kind of thing. No one else does it. I think that's pretty entertaining to watch, to be honest. I think there are a few things as aesthetically pleasing as a Messi shoulder fake. Like if you watch the game against Colombia,
we let Whitescape because we didn't let him land. Whitescape.
And also MN in the chat, bro. I'm not talking about goal. I'm saying just talent, just the player on how they're as a footballer on the ball. So my objective goal is Diego, and my subjective goal for me, what Cristiano did at United it was just amazing to watch. So he, based on who he was as a footballer, because guys actually discredit so much what he did in the Premier. It was actually mesmerizing to watch what he did in the Premier League, and obviously there's a certain level of bias because I'm a United fan. But if you're also being objective, he's arguably the greatest Premier League player of all time.
He wasn't much. Like, now people think I'm always fair. If Cristiano remained at Man United and kept going, I think that he would have probably surpassed Henry. Because I think Cristiano, he was literally a machine. Like the guy was he was literally like, this is just an unstoppable force. Like, obviously, think about Henry, that Henry did some crazy things. But in terms of like, this guy is beating you with his right foot, his left foot, he's dribbling you.
Bro. People think he was a forward. He was playing in midfield. Fergie played him in midfield. He wasn't a forward. So basically, he was a winger. So my thing is like Cristiano in that for United, the guy was a freaking machine. Hence why he was so good for United. There's even still an argument that he's one of the best Premier League players of all time. Even if he was there for 4 years? 6.
6 years. But really, his because I think for the 2 years he was like
Yeah,
dribbling and
his
tackling
peak was
around
his
and
peak
so
was
forth.
like from 06 to 09. So
So which is why I say to guys like, no, I'm so sorry for Cristiano that for some reason, I don't know whether it was an injury or something, that player at United wasn't the player for Real Madrid. It was, he obviously changed the game, but if that player for United kept on going, we'd have a different conversation in terms of, no, this is just a crazy attacking mad weapon. But that player that we saw for United, we only saw him for maybe 2-3, we only saw him for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like his last 2 seasons was that attacking weapon. But at Real Madrid, he wasn't the same dude. So
blame Mourinho.
That's
Uncle Moo. When are we going to have the GOAT Madrid manager?
Guys, let's be fair. Uncle Moo turned him into this goal scoring phenom. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, and
so
you don't rate him.
He's not this goal scoring phenom.
You don't rate him though.
Who?
You don't rate Cristiano Ronaldo. What Uncle Moo did to him?
No. I rate him as a goal scorer. So that's the thing. So this is fast to do. So from Uncle Wam, and then I'll come to. So Uncle Wam says Maradona is a GOAT. Full stop. Uncle Wam, I agree. Maradona is the GOAT. He's that dude. 100% agree. I just think 86 World Cup, how good he was. Go watch the documentary. Go watch the films. Go watch Life is Life when he just does keep you up and everything. Maradona for me.
Why does Maradona get rated higher than Pele? Because there's certain instances where I'm like, Pele actually like revolutionized the game, even though I rate Maradona higher than him.
You see, Z-Man, the reason it's a difficult one because if we're being super objective, it probably is Pele because of the point of he was doing things before anyone did. So you're like, if you now want to really look at this in a proper historical context, Pele might be the GOAT because it's like, don't just judge him based off what you see in the highlights. You have to use context. Because when you use context, it's like, oh my gosh, this 17-year-old is doing things that 20, 25, 30-year-olds have never seen done before. So he created the template for how guys would dribble, trap the ball, control, and do all these crazy things. So it's hands to football. The reason why I say Maradona is, again, I can only be true to myself. When I see Pele and when I see Maradona, for me, Maradona represents football more than Pele. When I just see how Maradona played the game, I'm like, no, that's football for me. That's football. But if we're just when you use context, Pele was a maverick. Pele was truly a revolution. And that's probably why he is probably the GOAT. Because you can have your Messi and so forth. For a guy to come and just change the way football is being played and change how an individual can play, he's that dude because everyone followed his mandates and so forth. Because they were like, oh, shit, look what this guy's doing. Maybe this is how I should think. Maybe this is how I should dribble. And finally, from your boy, Abracadabra says, what about the horseman Zizou? Well, apart from London Disputed, who was insulting him, guys, I'm sorry, like Zidane for me as a player is one of the best players I've ever seen. You can't disrespect Zidane. You just can't. And I'm not having a Zidane Iniesta.
Wait, what are you? So what are you basing your Zidane argument on? Like, why is he one of the greatest?
His ability through the roof. One of the best players I've ever seen. He scored 2 goals in that World Cup final. It is what it is. That's Champions League final. That's not only one of the greatest volleys I've ever seen. That's volley won the Champions League for Real Madrid. So you've shown up in a World Cup final. You've shown up in the Champions League final. You are one of the best players I've ever seen. And that 2006 game might be the best performance by an individual in a big game I've ever seen. What's clinching for me was 06. Seeing that live, I was like, oh no, this dude is different. So if Zidane had won that World Cup, we're having a very difficult conversation, bro.
Basically, Zidane's the ultimate moments merchant.
Yeah, he kind of is, if we're being honest.
I mean, but dude, come on, man. His career wasn't that. It wasn't.
But you see, guys, this is what Messi has done. I'm a big Cristiano, but specifically Messi. They've changed consistency. Before Messi and Cristiano, people say, oh, no, Zidane was pretty good because he was pretty consistent. But because Messi and Cristiano have changed What's consistency is they've effed it up. So now, even if you play well for 1 year or 2 years or 2 years and 3 years, people are like, no, screw you. 5 seasons in a row, 10 seasons in a row. Because Messi and Cristiano have now changed the balance. But the issue is that even when Messi and Cristiano go, nobody will never be as consistent as this guy, specifically Messi. It's impossible. Messi is a weird supernova. See, if we're talking consistency, there is no argument with Messi. There is no. We've never seen a guy as consistent. Don't talk about Cristiano. In terms of the most consistent player, in terms of performance, it's Messi, the likes of which we'll never ever see again in the history ever. For consistency, so the consistency argument it's been destroyed by Messi. You know, like, because who's gonna? The benchmark is to like. He didn't set the benchmark. The benchmark is messed up. That isn't a benchmark, because a benchmark is okay. It's here now. We can go here. It isn't a benchmark because nobody can reach it. Who's going to be consistent for like 16 years, 10 years, 11, 12 years? You know. So yes,
yeah. You were saying earlier that you don't rate Messi and Cristiano that highly because they had a super team. But doesn't Brazil have a super team every World Cup? And you rate R9 mostly on his international career.
An international team and a club team are two different things. Now, Shan, let's talk about Messi's team. That's formed the core of a Spain team that won 3 international trophies. Let's talk about Cristiano's team. People consider Modric one of the best midfielders of all time. People consider Ramos one of the best defenders of all time. Can we please put some respect onto Bill, who Bill at his peak was arguably one of the greatest big game players that we've ever seen. That's very different from Kleberson, a young Ronaldinho, and okay, I'll give you Rivaldo. You can't name me any of those Brazil.
Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
No. You can't. Do we want to have an honest Roberto Carlos conversation?
Gilberto Silva.
You can't deny they were one of the best national teams going to the World Cup. Like they were. Like that can't be denied. That's my problem.
This is where context is key. In that World Cup, Brazil were not one of the favorites because the team was much weaker than 98. They didn't have Dunga, who was their key DM back in 98, and the core of what they had and the manager that they had, people thought, and their main man, Ronaldo, this guy had been injured for ages and just had a knee injury. So people think it was like, if Ronaldo ain't going to be the same because of his knee injury, Rivaldo and Ronaldinho can't carry these guys to a freaking World Cup. So the notion was, if these guys are relying on Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, and they finish Ronaldo, that's it enough. Let's look at what Italy are doing. Let's look at what Spain are doing and so forth, even Germany and so forth. So context is key. You have to look at what people were saying back in 2002.
Brazil is a joke now, but back then, bro, even I say up until 2006, their team was always going to be one of the favorites, regardless of any narrative that going into the tournament. And when you look at it on paper, that team, I wasn't, locked into football back then, but I'm pretty sure that team would have been considered as a favorite just looking at the team on paper.
No, look, you see, this was obviously pre-Rich and pre-Casey and George. So obviously, Brazil was Brazil. So even if they were not as strong as 98, it's like it's still Brazil. So they still had that fear they had within them. But to Shan's point, you have an easier. Basically, it's easier to win a Champions League than it is to win a World Cup. That's a fact. Because a Champions League, you're with your club team every single week. So the chemistry is stronger. The familiarity is stronger. The comfort zone is stronger because of how familiar you are with your club side.
Yeah, but you're saying Ronaldo is top 5 GOAT based on the CWC.
People always misheard me. I've never called Ronaldo a GOAT.
No. You're saying he's top 5 GOATs.
No.
Based on the Corruption World Cup. No.
You see, my horseman thing is separate. If we're just talking about GOATs objectively, no. He isn't because of his club career. I just call Ronaldo he's just like my personal guy. But if we're just being, all right, let's be fully objective and so forth. I need your club career and international career. So we bring in Beckenbauer. We bring in Zidane. we have to now talk about Maradona. We have to now talk about even freaking Gerd Muller as well. Because when I'm talking about GOAT conversations, I need that club, I need that international. You know, what Cristiano and Messi is missing, they're missing the World Cup. Because the Beckenbauer can show you his European trophies, can show you his World Cup. You know, Zidane can show you his World Cup and a European trophy. Ronaldo, he can't show you his European trophy, you know.
So if Mbappe hypothetically wins the Champions League, would you rate him higher? I don't think that's fair to rate him high. Look at this French team, bro. They could call up another 26 players that are unknown and they would still win it. Like they would still be favored.
No. I just realized the whole horseman thing is just a subjective thing,
bro. It's about how you feel.
Zeman,
that doesn't make sense. No, I'm sorry, bro. We're gonna have to have a conversation about that 2018 World Cup.
We need to rearrange that horseman list.
This is why
of this channel.
No, Zeman, this is why you don't want because if Mbappe, let's say, scores in the UCL semi, scores a winning goal in the UCL final. You don't want that stream.
No, he's not a GOAT, bro. I'm sorry.
The talent that's required to be a GOAT. I'm sorry.
Wait, Zeman, do you really believe him when he says he has to score in the semis or final? The dude, all he has to do is lift the trophy.
He has to lift it. He could be injured for all we know, bro. He could be injured, one hamstring left, not even playing for a full 8 months. Bro. And if they win it, he's gonna be
my thing is that I just because the narrative will be too sweet. Just get that down.
Wait, so can I confirm that the current horseman list is completely subjective?
No.
Is the current horseman subjective?
No. The horseman list it's very clear.
No. The question is it subjective? Is it subjective?
No. It's
not subjective.
First of all, you need to win the World Cup.
No, answer the question.
It's not subjective. It's very objective.
It's not subjective.
So my main thing is that you need to win the World Cup. That's very clear. So you win the World Cup and it's your impact as an individual. So it's not only winning the World Cup, it's what you did in that World Cup. So winning the World Cup, your impact in that World Cup, specifically the World Cup final, and what impact did you have as an individual? Those are the main pieces of criteria. So my thing with Iniesta is he's got it all. But what impact did he have as an individual? My thing with Dino is, you got that Auto World Cup, but you didn't really make as much of an impact in that Auto World Cup as much as, let's say, a Rivaldo or thingy. So there's very specific criteria. If Messi and Cristiano win the World Cup, it's how you win the World Cup.
So
it's what you do.
No, bro. Iniesta, he got man of the match in the Champions League final. He got man of the match in the World Cup final. Man of the match in the Euro. He was one of the best players in the Euro 2012. That doesn't make sense. No, like he's shown up. He is a moment. He's been consistent and a moment. Like he fits the description.
I would argue. I would argue that Iniesta has both.
He fits the blend of both.
No, Zeman, his name is Iniesta Hernandez. Javier Ascani's twins. He's Iniesta.
No, bro.
Iniesta
No,
Hernandez.
bro. How are you talking about Mbappe when you have to talk about Conte? You have to talk about Pogba. It's like, I'm sorry, bro. Like,
no.
You have to talk about the whole team. Matuidi
forget
too.
Matuidi.
Yeah, Matuidi too. Yeah, Matuidi. All of them. The GOAT conversation.
So how are you moments merchants with Zidane, but not with Iniesta scoring the winning goal in the World Cup final?
Did Iniesta ever score a volley from a standing position in the UCL final?
What is this?
He scored in a World Cup final.
Guys, no, stop.
It's 2009, bro. Chelsea. That's why he's mad, bro.
Wait.
2009 thing.
Bro, that CL game has scarred him, bro.
Yeah, that's the goal, bro. That's the goal. He already made up his mind.
Hey, Chase, click on my AV. Click on my AV. Click on my AV. Click on my AV. Hey, just click on my AV.
That's why
Click on my AV. Click on my AV.
Iniesta scored a volley from a standing position with his left foot. Has Iniesta ever scored 2 goals for a trash France side against a team like Brazil? Because let's keep it real. Iniesta scored a winning goal against a 10-man Holland after they cheated for Robin to miss those 2-1-1-1 they want.
No. First and foremost, didn't Zidane get carried to that final?
In second half extra time.
Didn't Zidane get carried to that final?
Do it in 90 minutes.
Did Zidane get carried to that final? I just want to know, yes or no.
Hmm?
Did Zidane get carried to that final?
Bro, that French team had the best defense at that time, bro.
I'm just gonna say technically
the best defense at that time.
Iniesta's winning goal was technically a volley against Netherlands. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. No. What about Robin, bro? You said Robin's a big game player. How is he?
Zed, Zed, open your mouth and tell me that Iniesta's goal was better than Zidane's goal in that UCL final against Bayer Leverkusen. Say it.
Bro, he's gonna drop an avalanche of bricks if you say it.
Yeah, no, you can't say it. Don't worry about this guy, bro.
If you want to enter the brick hall of fame,
just be as inconsistent as him, bro. Just be as inconsistent as him.
Yeah, that's how you be the GOAT. That's how you be the GOAT.
Right?
No. So say it.
No, Zed. He just set up the bricks, bro. Don't say it. You're being set up. You're being set up.
I've got it right here. I've got it right here. So guys, look, man. I need to go and finish Shazam. It's first time watching. So guys, we're going to be
only
back
just watching
here.
Shazam. You're Chan, why are you stealing my thing, bro? Wait. Are you only just watching Shazam?
I missed out on because it's
not a couple of years old, bro.
It's not bad.
It's actually relatively better than majority of the
Black
DC
Adam, baby.
films.
Black Adam. Shout out Black Adam.
It's pretty funny.
Shout out Black Adam.
No. By the way, Blade is not the best Marvel movie, bro. It's Logan.
No, that's
easy.
It's Logan.
It's Logan.
Thank you for bringing it up, bro. Blade, bro. Ghost Rider was a better film than Blade. Ghost Rider was a better film than
Logan with a 7-foot-tall Wolverine.
No. We're talking about writing. We're talking about acting. We're talking about overall encompassing. You have to be honest, bro. You have to be honest. It was an incredible character-driven story. Better than Blade. No, it's Logan.
So you're not rating Logan because Hugh Jackman was on Crooked? One more thing.
That's a Brick Academy take.
Relax. Wait. HH. Didn't Mbappe miss the penalty in the Euros that knocked France out?
What?
YSK, screw you, bro.
Bro, I'm just saying it was a simple question.
No, he's telling the truth, bro.
All he has to do is just win.
Convenient time.
I'm just saying. I was asking a simple question. Did Michelangelo miss the penalty or not? I just want to know.
Yeah. No.
Because I heard.
If he wins the UCL,
I heard Shredder, aka Haaland.
No, bro. No, he's just like an older Cristiano Ronaldo. If we're being honest, bro. He's like an old man Cristiano Ronaldo with energy.
He's a poor man's Cristiano.
You don't rate Cristiano Ronaldo, bro.
If he scores in the UCL final, it's over.
No. Let's be honest. Cristiano Ronaldo would still have a better career than him. If we're being honest, he led Portugal to their first ever trophy.
Z-Man.
And the fact that this guy has delivered in Champions League in the three-peat.
Michelangelo.
He's been one of the best performers in the Champions League, La Liga, and
Michelangelo peaked at age 90. That's just face.
But my thing though is that if Mbappe scores in the UCL final and neither Cristiano or Messi have a World Cup, how can you say
will you discredit him if it's a tap-in? I just want to know
if it's a tap before.
Yeah, if it's a tap in, like he doesn't do anything. It's a tap.
Hold on. It goes to goal. Forget Michelangelo. Forget Michelangelo and Splinter and Shredder and all that. This guy really said Blade is the greatest Marvel film of all time.
No.
Can't get my head around that, bro.
That's complete garbage.
You know, Ghost Rider was better than that. Ghost Rider 1 and 2 was better than that.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider 1 and 2 was better.
My personal favorite is Captain America: First Avenger. But overall,
bro,
it's not there, bro. It's not there. It's not there. No. If you really want to have an overall discussion, bro, DC movies pin down Marvel movies. If we're being honest, they pin them down.
Yes,
they pin them down.
If you want to look, no, basically, Dark Knight is trash. Rises is
The
is a piece
Joker,
of
no, the Joker killed it. The Joker killed it.
Oh, that's the
Joker
greatest villain of all time. Greatest villain of all time.
But
Yeah.
But put it this way: the worst DC movies are worse than the worst Marvel movies. That's not
Suicide Squad.
No, the Justice League movie. Are you talking about the Justice League movie?
Yeah,
Batman
Justice
v
League,
Superman?
BVS,
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad was
Suicide Squad was a mess, man.
Bro, it wasn't polished.
Birds of
It
Prey.
wasn't polished.
Don't mention Birds of Prey if you're a DC fan. I don't even know what that was.
No. Let's be honest.
I'm out, guys. Peace out. Peace.
Peace.